Hi, chat. How are you guys doing tonight? Day 5 of the Banfield trial. It says day 6 on Court TV, and it fucked me all up in their title because it got me all confused, and I'm like, oh no, I got to fix this. Sadly, it looks like it's still processing out. We do not have closed captioning right this second. So some of you guys are going to have to, sadly, you're going to have to suffer just a little bit here. But we are going to address the... we're going to get through the trial here as we get going. I am sorry that we don't have closed captioning, but, you know, with the you must deal, Brave Warriors. EDW Raptor, Maddie, Angela, how are you guys? Let's see. Erica, hello. God, it's... Cat, hello. Cat Not Williams, hello. My God, I feel like I'm like in a shit, it's like DSP or some shitty channel. It's just a bunch of blue. Guys just going back and forth like it's all blue talking. Oh, okay. Now we get to some normal colors. Vodka Blood says based and all mods are terrible. Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Don't forget tomorrow.
I tell you guys what, 2.0 is, you know, she made this like chicken with this like onion and mushrooms. It was almost like a risotto, but she used these palmini stuff. It's like these palm-based things. It's like really, it was fucking amazing tonight. I'll tell you what. She's amazing at that stuff. So let's see here. Scormhammer, yes. How you doing? Learn to sign language. I don't know. That's something probably. All right. Yeah, I see you guys are here, but for a while it wasn't there. Torgenhammer says the sound ain't working. That sounds up. She ever do a carbonara? It's tough to do it right. I don't know. I don't know if she has before, but I'm sure she could. She's pretty good. So, what? Have you ever done one? They're asking. That's what they were asking, babe. Okay, nothing happened there. All right. Oh, you were muted when I came over. Anyway, guys, I'll do a carbonara with udon noodles. I like udon noodles. We'll try that maybe. All right, guys, we are going to get into Brendan Banfield. We're going to get into day 5. Remember, the state is rested, and they rested with, like, the detectives not talking. The only detective we had was the detective in charge of CSI and evidence handling. So we didn't have, like, the homicide detective. We had nobody talk about anything. We just had Juliana Magalhães, the nanny. She's the only one who testified. I mean, that it's very damning evidence, but it's a very weird case. And you heard that the defense may go into next week, but I don't think there's court tomorrow, which helps. Because there's a lot of stuff we got to get to. The Aaron Spencer case, he goes to trial next week. And, like, they filed all kinds of motions. There's, like, motions to recuse, motions to disqualify, all kinds of crazy shit went down. I'm actually going to get a hold of Bob Mata, because I know he's been covering it, see if he's covering all this and getting ready to do it, because if he is, we need to get together. I think that'd be a fun one to collab on. I'll shoot him a text here coming up. Oh, tomorrow's Thursday. There's no court on Friday. Oh, okay, sorry. I got a little carried away there. So, today, the defense is going. It's their turn. Let's see what they do. Let's see what they do here. So let's get started. Let's get started, chat. Hope you guys are doing well so far. And I mean, remember, this is still, you know, the defense. Now, after you hear the prosecution, you should be like, yeah, this guy did it. I mean, I'm kind of on that boat, but I'm not strongly in the, yes, he did it. And that's just because they didn't do a very good job. I don't think this is a very well done case. The prosecution has been very kind of sad in how they've done stuff here. So let's get into it.
Good morning. Good morning. Do we have any preliminary matters before the jury comes out? Yes. Could you put your microphone on for me? I have a
Here we
motion.
go.
Yes, your motion?
Your Honor, this is a motion to dismiss the trial pursuant to due process requirements of the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution. For the Commonwealth's knowing use of false testimony tainted the trial and must be dismissed pursuant to NAPU versus Illinois. I have the cases, Judge, and I can submit those to you. I've given some to counsel. Unlike a motion to strike where we're talking about the sufficiency of the evidence, now the defense is making a motion to dismiss under NAPU versus Illinois. This is incumbent upon the moment that you realize what the violation is. And as of yesterday, when the Commonwealth closed, with no detectives, with no evidence relating to the digital forensics, with no evidence relating to the catfish, which has been what they've said all along, it was at that point when they rested that this became incumbent upon me to make this motion. Usually this motion is made in conjunction with a Brady request that's not complied with. It stands for the proposition that if the government knowingly uses false testimony, the trial is tainted, not just for credibility issues, and must be dismissed. In this case, and actually in NAPU, the government failed to correct the testimony of a witness co-defendant who stated he was given nothing in exchange for his testimony when the prosecutor knew he was to receive favorable treatment from the sentencing court. This knowing falsity was enough to taint the trial, requiring reversal. For this, a bit of background is required. In September, the Commonwealth gave me a list of probably 65 witnesses. That was the last filed witness list with, that was probably when Mr. Clayton was still on the case. There was no, pursuant to the discovery order, any witness list filed for the Commonwealth. It was only when I reached out that I was able to get a list of some names that they potentially might be using, of which Detective Miller, who's the digital forensic detective, was not on there, nor was Detective Bryant. In fact, there were very few police witnesses other than Detective Leach, who we did hear from. As the court notes, you've had this case from the beginning. You've seen the battles for Brady material, which we know were violated because ultimately what came was concluded to be Brady and was known to the Commonwealth back in November of 2024. In fact, even before that. Speaking specifically as to the things that were known or should have been known, is Detective Miller, for Fairfax County digital forensic expert at the time, did an executive summary that was in the October timeframe. In that, he says that Christine Banfield, he concluded that Christine Banfield never lost control of her devices. And it was she who was reaching out to Mr. Ryan and others on BDSM websites, thus thwarting the theory that the defendant was part of a catfishing scheme to lure Mr. Ryan to the Banfield home to set up a double murder. Detective Miller's report was sent to be peer-reviewed as the chain of command did not like its findings. That peer review was concluded and they concurred with Detective Miller's report. This was known a year.
There you have it. There you have it. Some of the police believe Christine Banfield was in control of the phone when all this shit was going on. So, yeah, I mean, if that happened, then yeah, this kind of blows all of it up because, you know, somebody's lying. Someone's lying here. And it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It don't make no sense. So, yeah, if this really happened, this is devastating for the state. Absolutely devastating. So, hi, Sleuthy. How you doing? I don't know if you've been following this one at all or not, but yeah, this is getting really weird. If this happened, you know, how the hell would you be able to prepare as a defense team? You can't. There's no way to prepare for that because that's something like they've hidden. And that is extremely exculpatory. If a detective says, yeah, I don't think he did it. That's about as big as it gets right there. It's about as big as it freaking gets. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, chat. Thuthi says, what evidence is there that she wasn't the one who created the account? The nanny who admitted to killing the man said, yes, I helped set it up. And they said I was the one, I would respond as him, and so would the husband. We would DM him. So it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. As far as what they're arguing here. And then Eric says, I'm sure this is Eric July's fault. Yes. Yes. So the nanny alone, no, because the nanny has said, I would be sweet talking the guy they lured over. But she also said that the husband, Brendan, would also be sweet talking him, which has to be really creepy, talking to a guy knowing he's gooning every word you say. Oof. Be really awkward. Be super, super awkward.
Before Mr. Banfield's arrest and coincided with Juliana Perez Magalhães arrest. During the almost 1 year that Juliana remained in jail, Juliana's counsel requested 2 continuances and never secured a digital forensic scientist. And it's unknown if he knew about Detective Miller's conclusions at the time that he decided to take to advise his client to take the actions that she's taken. When the co-defendant decided to accept the reduced plea for time served, and her mother counseled her to take the plea and blame it all on Brendan, there was a highly unusual event for Fairfax County, wherein the lead prosecutor for this case, Eric Kling, questioned and interviewed Juliana in the presence of her counsel and some police detectives. In that video interview, she gave a statement in which multiple occasions of her version did not line up with digital forensics and could not have occurred. Detective Miller was then pressured by the detectives in the case to alter his findings to fit Juliana's story, to which he declined and prepared his summary for the homicide unit. He was then transferred without a...
That's not that unusual given what this case is all about. If I was the prosecutor prosecuting this, I would want to know what the fuck is going on. I'd want to know from these people directly. What the fuck is it that you know and how do you know it? So it's not that weird. It's not that weird.
Request.
Maybe how the rest of it went, yes, that's very weird, but not just asking the questions.
The Child Exploitation Unit. It can be concluded that as of October 2024, the police and the Commonwealth attorneys knew the evidence did not support the catfishing theory. When in October 2025, when she gave her first recant, there were police and prosecutors in there, yet the prosecutor was the one that was questioning. The absolute unprecedented upheaval of the homicide division has been well documented and is directly related to this catfishing theory that was pushed upon, and also by the unsupported evidence. At the defense motion for bill of particulars in September, the court asked, is this still a viable alternative for the Commonwealth to prove catfishing? And the Commonwealth committed to that. However, as the evidence ends yesterday, Judge, we have nothing but Juliana Perez Magalhães. That's, as to the motion to strike, I understand the court's position, but these findings and the evidence to support the finding that the Commonwealth knew or should have known is it within every aspect of this case at this point. This is essentially a lack of candor issue, Judge, with the court, and it's in violation of Virginia State Bar Rule 3, which requires candor with the court. Rule 3.8 requires Commonwealth to administer justice, not just an advocate. Further, 3.8 requires prosecutor to withhold indictment if there is no probable cause. At the time of Mr. Banfield's indictment, the police knew about Detective Miller's findings, and Ms. Perez Magalhães had not changed her story and accepted the Commonwealth's plea deal. These ethical requirements have not been met. But more troubling is the presentation of false evidence by the co-defendant. It is analogous to a prosecutor presenting the testimony of a victim in a rape case, knowing the DNA exonerates them, but doesn't present it. This known falsity denies the defendant a fair trial.
It's not Clyde making those
It should be dismissed pursuant to NAPU versus Illinois as violator of the 14th Amendment. And there are additional cases, Judge, which I have for your review, which are closely aligned with NAPU, which is the seminal case.
I'm familiar with those cases.
There's nothing wrong with reading it. It's making sure you don't forget anything. We all read, we all use notes. We all read off stuff. This isn't an oral argument. You're gonna read your shit off line by line. I'm just saying that's actually not a big deal to me. It's actually better. It shows a little bit better if your attorney is using notes. That shows he's kind of got his shit together. Because if he's not using notes, it's well, how do you know he knows what he's doing? So,
Thank you, Mr. Carroll. If you want to,
Would you?
that's fine. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
they're gonna go, that's not true.
Your Honor, counsel has highlighted the Commonwealth's witness list containing 65 people, most of whom we did not call. I expect the same to be true of defense, and that is the nature of a case. When we want to make sure that we do not limit ourselves, should evidence be required, we list a witness on that witness list, which is provided to the court well in advance of trial. In this matter, we call the witnesses that we believe presented the evidence clearly to the jury. We have presented the physical evidence collected, we've presented the DNA analysis, we've presented the blood evidence, and there is no requirement that we call a lead detective to present a narrative when we in fact have the person who was in the room to present that narrative. In this case, counsel argues that Juliana Perez Magalhães presented false testimony. That's a matter for the jury. Counsel simply doesn't like what she said. That doesn't make it false. At this point in time, Judge, I don't believe that there's any merit to this motion, and we would ask you to deny.
All right. Anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right. I am familiar with the NAP cases and the prodigy. The NAP cases are a little different from here because in those cases, they're based on prosecutor's failure to correct testimony that he knew to be false. That's not what we have in this case. There's no evidence Commonwealth is using false testimony. It's just the weight of the co-defendant's testimony that does go to the jury. I don't have any Brady violations at trial at this time, and none have been alleged. The Commonwealth has presented their evidence, which has survived a motion to strike, but I cannot find any violations of the 14th Amendment. At this time, the co-defendant did provide testimony as to a catfishing theory. The way the Commonwealth puts on their cases up to the Commonwealth, I don't have any evidence or showing that the Commonwealth has used any false statements, testimony that they knew to be false. So therefore, I'm going to deny your motion.
Remember, chat, it's not a surprise. You shouldn't be surprised. Courts always deny these. Remember, if they did their job, the world would fall apart if they really enforced the law. That's just a sad fact of it all. If they actually played fairly and played hard and made these attorneys, made the prosecutor's offices suffer for what they've done, it would change a lot, but they don't do that. And that's okay. That's okay.
Okay. All right. Yes, sir. Are you going to start with the evidence, the exhibits?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. Have we gone over them?
Yes, we have, Judge.
Okay, and do you have an agreement as to which ones you don't?
There are
object to?
several that the Commonwealth would agree may be admitted. There are equally as many that the Commonwealth would object
So
to.
we'll just go one at a time. Is that
Probably for the
easiest?
best.
Okay, all right. We ready for the jury then?
Judge, the Commonwealth does have a request.
Okay.
Our expert who testified yesterday, Iris Dallygraph, she has flown home, and we are asking that she be permitted to watch his expert's testimony through the live feed so that she can then, if recalled
If
in
you have a
rebuttal.
rebuttal. Any objection to that? Okay, no objections.
Thank
That's
you.
fine. Thank you. All right, we're ready for the jury.
And that makes sense because she's got to watch it somehow. And it would be impossible for her to watch it
Okay.
like otherwise. So she probably is sitting here
Yep.
watching this on Court TV this morning. I'm surprised though that she won't stick. Well, it'll be a couple of days, and if it's a couple of days, that makes sense why she couldn't stick around. Because remember, they said it'll be till next week till they're done presenting. So
Exhibits.
Thank you, Your Honor.
and here he goes, not like nobody knows how to use the goddamn machines. So. Hi, Jenny. So the nanny alone. Oh yeah, no, sorry, I was trying catching him back up here. Sorry, so let's see. Catch up what you guys say here. Wow, my chat froze. Yeah, she's watching the recap with us. Gosh, don't listen to what I said yesterday, lady.
I'm sorry.
You do not have it on our screen.
Should be on. We can get, it might just be a plug. It's one. So
To the jury?
it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Each of the 70.
Oh, so we're going through some of the letters. Finally, we can see the damn letters.
Your Honor, sorry. Is counsel intending that the jury read each of the 73 letters?
We will not have time for that, Mr. Carroll.
Okay.
They'll have them back when they deliberate. And this is defendants two?
Defendants two.
All right, no objection from the Commonwealth.
Are we just jerking around to this for right now? We're going to skip ahead here, guys. Sorry. We're not. Oh, hold on here. I mean,
You're fine.
guys, I'm just going to skip ahead on this.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys already read the letters? Okay,
Exhibit
well,
9.
see if we can read
Yeah,
them
we
as
could-
they come up.
Exhibit on the second
Okay, fine.
through 15.
We're going through all the exhibits here.
All right, any evidence?
Oh, you guys wish you got snow in Australia? It's going to be 114 for a few days. Wow. Well, oof. That sounds like that sucks. That sounds like that sucks. Right now here, it's like maybe 15 degrees outside. Okay, I really just hope I have the chance to be with them again back home. I really do. I can't stand the thought of not being with them anymore for my own mistake. So... sometimes I just think to myself, like, I can't believe I'm going, or I'm facing life in prison for nonsense, then things weren't supposed to be the way, right? But people are stupid, including me, and make mistakes with and act without thinking. That's all I did. Well, there you go. Basically admitting to it.
Is-
So,
Go away.
Should,
Fine with that.
All right. This,
this is not admitted.
okay, chat. I'm
It's
gonna
not
skip
offered for the
ahead
truth
here.
of the matter, Judge.
Yeah.
It's offered
Then what
for the
is-
subject matter, I guess.
Then Judge, I would have.
Okay.
are we good?
Yep.
Okay, good.
All right. We're gonna get right into the cop here. Here we go.
We got it. Nope. Other way.
Yeah, guys, those were the letters Juliana sent from the jail. Remember, everything you send out of the jail is intercepted. Phone calls and written notes.
There you go.
It's all intercepted. You have no right to privacy. They intercept it and copy it, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Good morning, officer.
Good morning, sir.
Once I get this video, I'm going to ask you to identify it.
Okay.
Okay.
Sir, could you state your name for the record?
Zachary Beckner.
Thank you.
Okay, so he's wearing his uniform, which is different. Remember, we said those other guys not wearing uniforms, so they might not be cops anymore, or at least not cops in that department. Although I think one of them said he quit.
Sir, do you see that picture on the screen?
Yes, sir, I do now.
Do you? Sorry.
I'm just sorry. Is this a video that's already in evidence, or is this video that you are?
This is, so there's, Judge, I'll just tell you, the Commonwealth moved in first 6 minutes
Okay.
of this video, and this is going to be a continuation
All right.
beyond
So this, what would you mark it as your exhibit then?
I think we're at 84, are we?
We are, let's see. 82, if you want to go in order.
Let's go in order, yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
82. Okay, thank you.
Sir, I'm going to ask you to look at that picture and tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury if you can identify what you see there.
It appears to be body cam footage, sir.
Okay, and was this the body camera video from your body cam?
I believe so, yes, sir.
Okay, and this was on, what date was this on?
February 24th, 2023.
Okay, and this is what, if anything, are you doing as you go in?
From this, I'm about to enter the house.
Your Honor, he's identified the video. Can we publish this to the jury?
You want to admit it into evidence?
Yes.
Is it under seal?
I think it is
Okay.
because of the graphic nature
All
of it.
right, so 82, any objection, 82 under seal? All right, 82 in evidence, under seal.
All right, chat. We don't get to see it.
Anybody else downstairs?
So we've already seen some of the
Hold down,
pictures.
somebody hold down.
Let me see if I can bring up what we got today.
They're saying one of the patients is outside now.
So somebody's outside. In the back? Anybody else outside? Who else outside? Anybody over here? Stay there. Who is the shooter? Who shot who?
I got a blowout kit if you need it.
Bring it up. Is there anyone else in the house who needs in the house?
Done.
Ma'am, I need you outside now.
What do you need?
Get medics in there now.
Scene cold to medics.
He grabbed my arm. Go ahead. He grabbed my arm. I just heard that money. Go down.
Sir, at this point, had you engaged in any duties at what you're seeing right now in the video?
Could you clarify what you mean by
What
duty, sir?
were you doing? What were you asked to do? What did you take it upon yourself to do?
We were trying to locate a chest seal in the medical kits that we carry in our cruisers.
Okay, and that's something that you had with you?
That's what the black bag is that I sat down on that bed.
Okay.
Get it. Don't do that. I don't know when you shot it. Who's that chest seal? I need it from the top of your mouth. You got that by him, so watch him.
I want.
Guys, chest seal. Now we're looking for it, buddy. We're looking for it. Get calls. He called that. Up this way. Upstairs.
And chat, remember, we talked about this before. A chest seal is an occlusive dressing. Basically, it's a piece of plastic. You could stick over wounds that could seal them, specifically over the chest cavity, as a way to keep the lungs from deflating. Because if you poke a hole in your chest cavity, your lung will deflate because the air pressure comes in and crushes it. A chest seal seals that off and allows your lung to hopefully reinflate a little bit. So they're trying to use those for different things as well. So.
Hey, Chris, seal over and I'll get the right now.
Just stay there, stay there. There's another one behind you.
Hey, open this up for Baumler. I got the other one for him. Okay, go.
Zach, go ahead, breathing, so.
We got one guy up here, gunshot wound, one female, small stab wound.
Can someone do this for me? I don't have anything. Up this way. He's in the bathroom, up here. I don't have a pulse on him. I don't have a pulse on him.
Where's the gunshot wound?
I'm not entirely certain, sir.
Check.
Chest.
Okay. Hold this down. Let's work on her, okay? Sit it up.
You need another chest seal?
Yeah, whatever you have.
Hey, get another. Hey, let's get more blowout kits.
Come back, Ron. Preston County Court.
I don't know.
You shot in the head.
Oh,
That's a lot of blood. It looks like it's probably from a lung.
Do you need for K9 or Helo at this point? K9 10.
I don't even know what to do.
Okay. Yep.
And guys, Dirty Eric points or Smug and Mog says duct tape worse in a pinch. Really, anything like a chip bag, like a bag of Doritos, you could cut it and put it over a chest wound, and it would help seal. Anything that's like airproof, like any bag that you couldn't breathe through. So a Ziploc bag would work. During World War II, medics were very commonly, you could tell who they were because they cut little squares out of their ponchos because they were waterproof and airproof. And there was an like a seal air couldn't permeate. So they had little holes cut all over their ponchos because they would cut out little chest seals they would use or cut out a seal for whatever size they needed. It was a very common thing. So yes, you can improvise a seal if you can, but buying a seal is always the best thing. Like buy proper trauma equipment. It's a lot better than making shit up on the fly. A lot better than making shit up on the fly. In fact, hold on. We might as well just do this advertisement real quick. Okay, guys. As I've said before, if you are in a situation like you can buy these. These are chest seals. Hyphen, they are from North American Rescue. It's the chest seal combo. It has a front and a back because normally when you get shot, it goes all the way through. But this is $17 for per, and I think it's like 30 total. Actually, no, I think it's 17 for the pair. But either way, it's dirt fucking cheap, and this is like military grade medical equipment. And then like a cat tourniquet or a soft T tourniquet. This is like $50. This handles about 99.99% of any serious medical issue you may face in life. So it doesn't take much for this stuff. It's all pretty cheap, but you know what? This plastic bag could be used as a seal and need to if it came to it. So.
We got this on away from medics. Can you talk with him? I don't have a pulse. Is medics expediting or where are they at?
I can go on. Guys, hey, do the pulse on me.
No, not at all. What do you need?
Multiple step in this one. Start going. Here's what Wiley does now. She is her pulse. All right. Multiple step to the next. Thanks, person. So I need a whole multiple step to the left. You can see the other gunshot. All right. Don't still breathing. Multiple step to the next. Don't know if it's right on the side. All right. So she's still breathing. We can feel blood moving. You can stop me from drawing. Yeah, we're gonna get her. He's gonna be way over there. Yeah, just is he breathing over here? He's breathing. That's why we're moving. Grab him. Take him downstairs. I'll get her. Are you hurt? Stand by.
Sorry. Nope, there's no pulse wounds. Nothing. There's nothing. What do we need? Well, I think that doesn't definitely DOA. I mean, we can. I think that's maybe obvious over there.
Oh.
We want to do. Want to grab that, Joe?
Don't miss this.
All right, that's fine. You want to get a rim on that? Yeah. You want to check on it? It's right there behind you. You got it? Okay. Where's? This is not over the rope, please. There was 2 on the bed when I came in. Okay, let's look up blood on it. So stay with him. I'm not sure. He doesn't know. Yeah. You don't know that guy? Yeah. I know. I'm trying to figure out where's the gun currently.
It's on the bed.
Firearms right here. Leave them right where they are. That's where we found them.
We moved them away.
All right, that's not.
They were on the other hand.
You want? Yeah, let's listen.
We have a knife right there. Yeah.
Hey, Sarge, what's up? You want to escort him outside? Yeah, right now they're working, so we're going to be. So, okay. We're not working. No. But I'm getting out. All right. So once they get shot. Move her go? Yeah. All right. We're going to
Got a knife here.
Yeah. Is there kids down there? Kids around the way. Go outside. We're clear the rest of the house. Okay. You guys want me to go with them? That's fine. Zach, stay here.
All right.
You're with me on the What are we doing here? We're going to make sure no one else is hurt in the house. Okay. All right. We're going to get something down there.
Sir, that's the video that you previously watched, the Commonwealth's case, correct? Up to the 6-minute mark?
Yes, sir.
Okay, was your body camera continuing beyond that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and approximately how long, were you escorting Mr. Banfield that day?
Correct. I escorted him out of the house to the ambulance, rode in the ambulance with him to the hospital.
Your Honor, that clip was identical to what the Commonwealth did. I have the longer clip, and I'm just going to switch that out right now so we can go from this point and continue on with the clip.
So 82 should just be your second
Yes,
part.
yes.
Okay, so we'll keep this, what we just watched will stay as the Commonwealth's exhibit, and then now 82 will just be what you're going to play from here on out.
Yeah, from 642 on.
And you'll have a separate file? You have a separate file for that? For
Yes,
me? Okay.
I just have to.
Okay, so 82 will just be that separate file then. Okay. I assume there's no objection to the continuing of the body cam?
No, ma'am. And just for clarification, what we just watched was Commonwealth 6.
Number 6?
Yes.
Okay, so that will stay at Commonwealth 6, and then whatever we're about to play now will be 82, and I assume there's no objection to the rest of the body cam?
Correct.
Okay. So 82 will be in evidence. Under seal.
We're going to get something down there. All right, somebody behind him. Can you touch this?
Sir, do you recognize that as being a continuation of the video?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
So she's going to go up to, so that's okay. He's actually going to go.
Hey, can you take him out?
Yeah, I got more units here. We'll check him out. Stay sorry. I'll just walk through them. What did you say? Okay, just right there. We're going to have to get him out of here.
Yeah, I know.
Can you give him a second? I'll touch anything else.
I'm not. Can you change my gloves out? You can get him out of here. The knife's there. Guns are on the bed. I got you.
I'm going to take him and stick him in the freezer. Yeah, I got to hook him up, guys. Have him bring down.
Yeah, just give him a second.
I got to put him on the monitor. Yeah, go for it. Is she okay? So the fire department, they take over this point? We're kind of just here. Is she breathing? So again, they're down there. What I want to do is get
Just watch what you're kicking, please.
All right. Is that work?
I know what you got to do. I'm just.
If you can't walk, we'll do it in a minute. Give me a minute. Nothing.
Now, was that you saying, watch what you're kicking?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and was that directed toward anyone in the room there?
It was directed towards the firefighter that you saw with the face covering on, the mask.
The one who came by you to your right?
Correct.
Okay, and was he tending to the scene over near Joe Ryan?
Correct. He was hooking up to leads.
Okay, and was there distortion of how it looked before he?
Objection leading.
All right, I'll sustain as leading if you want to rephrase.
When you said stop kicking, what were you referring to?
He had kicked some blankets out of the way.
Okay. Do you remember the colors of those blankets?
I believe they were purple.
Purple. Okay. Were they the only blankets or towels that were in that area?
I don't remember, sir.
Okay. You just remember him kicking.
Correct.
Okay. Do you remember if he kicked anything else in the crime scene?
Not that I'm aware of, no, sir.
He stopped after you.
After I told him to.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just give me some
Trying
pressure
to
right now
mess
as
with
well.
a little bit.
So we can get you outside. Can you got gloves on? Can you help him? Just be with him.
Yep.
Now you're holding Mr. Banfield, my client, at that time. What was the reason for you to hold him?
He was unsteady on his feet, sir.
Okay. Did you hear him say anything or relating to his ability to walk?
At that point in time, no, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Oh, okay. But you sometime later on in this video?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, they're probably worried he's in shock.
One of those pushing down the stairs. Say, this is Vienna.
Easy. Sorry, say it again.
So you in Vienna?
My office is in Vienna, correct. Did you call my office? No. I usually call my manager at some point.
It's the least of our worries right now, man.
We're just gonna get you in a cruiser outside in the air. You're okay, okay? You're not hurt?
I don't think so.
We'll check him out when we get him over to the car. Watch out, watch out. What's wrong with your right leg, sir?
Bravo,
I don't know, maybe. Okay.
I'm gonna be calling medic 436 for resting hospital.
Take some deep breaths, all right?
You need to sit down somewhere. Is there a way to get an update? Right now.
They're handling everything from you. He doesn't think so. We haven't had a chance to really do a full inspection quite yet. If you guys want to check him out. He's just a little unsteady on his feet, though. All right, let's do that then.
We're gonna go ahead and check this gentleman out in the back of the ambulance, okay? We'll check the stomach today.
Officer Beckner, had my client complained of any physical ailments other than having difficulty walking?
Just whatever he said was going on with his right leg. That was it.
And when you said you were going to go check him out, was there anything that caused you alarm?
Erica, this is a good question here. Not at this point. They would have to show that she lied, and if she lied, that becomes Brady material that Brendan and his attorney get to know. So no, at this point, if she's performed the deal, most likely this is some sort of written deal. There's like an actual plea agreement that's written. So it's like a contract. They can't break it. Courts will hold the prosecution just like it's a contract if you buy the car. Can I turn on live stream closed captioning? I don't know how to do that, Ticklestein. I don't know how to do that. I wonder if they'll come after her to charge her with conspiracy to commit murder. No, I don't think so, because that really would kind of, I guarantee you her plea agreement is, that she is free and clear from all crimes in this case. Otherwise, she would not, that would be poorly drafted otherwise. So she's probably free and clear now after she did her job. Another says Officer Camelot. He does kind of look like Camelot a little bit. So I tried watching earlier, but the Brendan is so guilty crowd is just too much. Well, I mean, he's pretty guilty. I mean, I'm not going to lie. He's pretty guilty, but we'll see what it is ultimately. Her plea form is on that site. I know, but I don't know what exhibit it is, Kay. If you guys find it, I'll be happy to go over it. Just tell me what number it is. So.
That caused you to want to have him checked out?
I just wanted to make sure he was okay.
Okay, thank you.
Where's my daughter?
I think she's out there with them, so.
Well, I mean, Amon,
Is there anybody else in the
he was just involved in a fatal incident where he claims he shot a guy. So he was involved in some sort of deadly force encounter. He may have gotten hurt. He may have slipped and fall. A million different things could have happened to him. He could be going through severe shock. He could be about to have a heart attack. there's like a million fucking things that could happen to this guy. It's very common that anybody involved in a traumatic incident like that, they are going to get them examined. That's going to be standard procedure. That's really not a super crazy thing, I would argue, if you're the cop wanting to do it. Okay, yeah, here's the plea form, guys. Here. We'll do it in Spanish too. We'll do it with the accents. Ready? My name is Juliana Perez Magalhães. My birth date is 5/27/2000. Let's see here. Real quick. You guys are wondering how this is going to go. This is treated like an actual contract, like if you're buying a car. It's this going to be, we'll see how this worked here. So what we're going to get down to here, the following plea agreement is the full and complete agreement between me, the attorneys, and the Commonwealth. Okay. So they've amended count 1 of the indictment and will nully prosequi count 2. So I'm sure she got charged with that conspiracy there. The Commonwealth will recommend the defendant be reduced to a period of active incarceration capped at time served. And it's conditioned upon the defendant's continued cooperation with the Commonwealth. All terms and conditions are at discretion of the court. So there you go. Yeah, she's getting the entire, like, yeah, she's going to be there. And it's, I don't see anything else here, but I assume she's, yeah, let me just double check, because I guess that's not clear. But that's an issue there that, you know, the idea is that she's getting time served. The idea, yeah, theoretically they might be able to come back, but I'm assuming that there are assurances that have been made on the record this will be it, if I had to guess. Because otherwise it would not make any sense. Zach Sarian says, do they really need her testimony? Yes. If they didn't have her testimony, they have no case against this guy. Because notice they didn't bring in any of the cops. So yeah, they needed her testimony. 100% they did. So there you go. But the idea they could bring it back would be really, really shitty. And remember, if they try that, people aren't going to cut deals with them. Sweet Tooth says, did they swap her hands for GSR? She admitted to shooting. She admitted to shooting him. So no, they didn't need to. Maybe they did at some point. I don't know. But I mean, she's admitted she shot the guy the whole time. So remember, they're arguing, though, that this was all, they were the good guys, but clearly they weren't, is the argument.
So she's out there, Manny. Okay. But it's just the two of them, correct? Yeah. Okay. My daughter. Just one sec. We're gonna go down to the door, all right?
Is anything bothering you right now?
I just what it said.
Okay. Were you hit with anything? A knife? Anything?
No, I took the knife. I took the knife from him.
Okay. All right. So you're not hurt anywhere. Is that not your blood, correct?
I think it's.
All right. You want to slip this jacket off for me so we can evaluate you real quick? Have you keep your other foot up for me?
Yeah,
so you
I think
can
it's yeah.
Hey, Honor, brother. Pressure, all right? Let me set up the table for way over to record.
Officer Beckner, do you know who took possession of the jacket when it was taken off of him?
Officer Hugh.
Officer Hugh?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Should I take your watch off now, all right? That's fine. So I can see. I give it to the officer standing behind you. Where'd all this blood come from, you know?
I was holding her neck.
Okay.
Do we have any crossings that need to be covered?
511 Bravo, I've got one up at House
Taking her to the hospital right now. They're not going to have much of an update. We're going to take her to the rest of the hospital, okay? Yeah. I don't see any wounds on you. I'm just going to check you out. Would you like to run up to the hospital?
Can I be with her?
They're going to work on her when they get there. You wouldn't be able to see her immediately anyway. If you do choose to go.
Yes, I want to be with her.
Okay, then we'll take you up there for evaluation then, okay?
What's going to happen to my daughter?
That I'm not sure. That's
As of right now, I believe she's sitting with one of our officers until we figure out what all is going on.
Take it, man.
We're not taking that last crossing.
Hey, Doherty, it's going to be Drainsville at 8:50 to 9:20, right there in front of the Kiss and Ride.
Let's get squeezed real tight. All right, perfect. We'll take all that off then. Take it off there. Sorry, take some from that. So just to confirm, nothing's bothering you right now, right? Physically, you weren't injured at all.
If anything hurting you at all, man, they're trying to find out so we can make sure we get you help too. We're going to need his, what?
No, you're good. You're good. Put your hands out.
That's fine. You're not going to be able to have it in the hospital anyway? I have copies. Okay. What department are you with?
Department Treasury, Internal Revenue Services.
Okay. It's okay. Those can stay for right now. That's fine.
Yeah. So before you roll, let me make sure they decontent what you have on you, okay?
Okay. I don't think I've got anything directly on me, but, hey, Derek.
Yeah.
I've got Mags and his watch. If you want to hold on to this. I've got Mags and his watch. I'm going to go with them to the hospital. Yes, department.
I don't have an answer to that right now. I wish I did, but I don't. I'm sure they'll give you an update as soon as they can. The question is, would you like to go with us or would you like to go with the police?
It doesn't matter. If I can be with them, that's what.
See what one of the medics have, what the bags of medics have.
What is he looking for? Just a
I'm
plastic
assuming it's
bag.
Zach. A what?
Plastic bag.
Just right now, did we search him?
No, I haven't searched him yet.
Can we stand up?
Sorry, man, it's fine.
You're good. Sorry. I'll leave his badge on him.
For the healing procedure, we apologize.
Knives or anything on him?
And you're with the Treasury. Okay. You get the bag. A bio bag. A bio bag.
Yeah. Anything on that side, Terry?
Yeah.
He's going.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, he got back. He's Treasury, essentially.
Officer, is there a policy about searching someone who goes in an ambulance, or what were the circumstances that caused that search?
We were just trying to confirm you didn't have any further weapons on him, sir.
Okay, after he told the fireman that he had the mags?
I believe that's what he said to him.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, she's already pled out.
Yeah, I'll ride with him. That's fine.
My badge and wallet is in my bag.
Your badge is clipped on your brother. We're going to leave it on you, okay?
All right, my credentials.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Just go ahead. You can sit back down. You're all right.
I'm going to follow him down.
Okay.
I'll follow him down to the hospital.
Okay.
In the ambulance?
Yeah, that's fine. Unless Zach
Well,
changes my
right there, Zach, yeah, gloves on. Put his, here. Put his stuff in here.
I'll follow you guys down too, so.
All right. Whoever's driving my car that was actually.
We'll have to figure that out, so.
Sir, was yours the Glock 19 with the Taylor?
Mine has the light, yeah.
With the light on? Okay.
My other gun. My other gun is my personal weapon.
Oh, that's the 43X?
Yeah.
So both those are yours?
Both of them are mine.
Okay, the ones that we saw on the bed, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thanks, sir.
Where do you guys need me at?
It doesn't matter. You can sit in the cap's chair right there if you're going to ride with us.
Yeah, I'll ride with you.
Just for evaluation. Yeah.
Okay, sure, good idea. Okay, BLS, absolutely.
If you guys don't need anything else,
No, we'll go ahead.
we'll head out and we'll take the EMS captain. Go get the meeting.
Okay, yeah, Command Servant is on out
All right,
here.
yeah, we're good then.
All right, and we're gonna roll over the rest of the hospital then.
Okay, sounds good.
We're good, Zach. Do the rest.
You got the plan? Yeah.
Are we good to go? Or
To my knowledge, I'll just check real quick.
what's your first name?
DREMT.
Hey, are we good to transport him to the hospital?
Last name?
DANFIDW. 22385.
Hey, LT or Givens, are we good to transport to the hospital?
Any underlying medical conditions? Liver blood, hypertension, and any cardiac issues. Taking medications right now. Any allergies, any medications at all? How old are you? And they call the hospital, let them know we're coming, okay?
It's not going to go up. It's just
All right, chat. I'm going to skip ahead till we get some fucking questions because I can't do this. Oh, hold on. We need to hear. Hold on. I need to hear some questions. Let's see if we can hear a question or two.
No one wants to.
There's nothing here we can do while they ride to the hospital.
Phones on.
Mods is just like local states. Oh, come on. Oh my god. This is the problem with completeness, you guys.
Someone check this in here.
The cop, you make EW watch body cams, yeah. Okay, come on. Are we gonna get the part where they're actually fucking talking?
Okay.
Okay.
Bring me a couple brown bags, the paper bags. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, the court takes
Come back
a
at
break.
11:55 then?
You made it to the hospital with Mr. Banfield. He was not.
Okay, here we go.
Questions. And then upload.
My name is Mike Antonio.
And sir, is that the entirety of your body worn camera from that day?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, so there's stuff we're not allowed to see in it, but he showed the whole video. So both sides can't just say nothing is said. You could skip it. No. This is the rule of completeness. When you say that, unless you made an agreement, yeah, the whole thing comes in. Oh, anyways, here we go.
Did you manually shut it off when the detectives came in?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, we'll save
And then
time tonight,
uploaded
chat.
it into the system?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any further questions.
Any cross-examination?
Jesus, that was painful.
Good morning. How are you?
God.
Good morning, ma'am.
Just a couple of questions. Initially, when we started this video, we started with the portion that the Commonwealth had previously played for you, where you entered the scene. Counsel asked you about your duties, and you responded that you were, at that point in time, working on trying to get a chest seal on Mr. Ryan. Is that correct?
We were trying to locate a chest seal for the female at the scene.
Okay. Were you the first officer to approach Joseph Ryan?
That day, I believe so, ma'am.
Okay. And did you place a chest seal on Joseph Ryan?
Eventually, yes, ma'am.
Okay. You didn't observe any blood coming from Joseph Ryan's chest wound, did you?
None until after I did CPR.
And his hands were folded over that wound, is that correct?
They were across his chest.
All right. When you made it to the hospital with Mr. Banfield, he was not treated for any injuries to his leg, was he?
No, ma'am.
Or any other part of his body?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. No other questions?
Any redirects? All right, is he still subject to recall or is he done? Is he subject to recall or?
No, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, you're free to go. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and take our 15-minute recess. Just again, do not discuss the case and do not do any outside research, okay? Thank you.
So we're going to skip ahead, chat. We're going to move along. Yes.
All right,
Cat,
we'll come back at 11:55.
you guys watched
Huh?
this live, right? You guys watched this live or had to sit there and listen to that whole goddamn thing. Oh my God. I feel so sorry for you guys. That's rough. That's rough. But yes, CL Kluk. I guess, yes, we have Kluks. We have Clue Towers now. But yeah, that's the bitch of, you know, the rule of completeness. It's complete.
11:55. Thank you.
All right.
All right, this is a new guy.
Good morning, Officer Baumler.
Okay.
Good morning.
I'm going to play a clip for you, and I want you to identify it first, all right, before we play the whole thing, all right?
Yes, sir.
We can't see anything on the
It's
screen.
not showing.
There's like share the screen, asshole.
Ah, I think we may have solved
Boomer.
it.
Yes, you have.
Looking at that picture before you, sir, can you
Yes,
identify this
fucking
video?
awful.
Yes, that's my body cam video.
Okay, and this is from February 24th?
Correct, 2023.
From time to time, I'll stop and ask questions, but otherwise, I'm just going to have you watch, not the entire one. Yours goes almost an hour, like the previous officer, correct?
I believe so.
Okay, we're going to be quite a bit shorter.
You want to mark it as,
Mark it as Defense Exhibit 83.
okay. And is you asking to admit it into evidence?
Yes, we are, Your Honor.
All right, any objection?
Judge, I don't believe so. We indicate he's going to jump around this. I'm not entirely sure.
But do you object to the admissibility of?
Yeah.
Okay, so that can be an evidence. Is it?
Yes.
I don't know what it is, so does it need to be under seal?
Yes, it does.
Oh,
Okay,
she just
so-
finished?
so-
Oh, Emily just finished? Oh my God. Yeah. I think the main thing with the long hours, the doctor told him to wash his hands. Sure. I'm sure there's something in there, but whatever it is, we can hear it somewhere else. So here we go.
View body cam under seal in evidence 83. Okay.
Shot someone. There's a 34-year-old female that got stabbed by someone, and then he shot him. Here's another person that he shot, but he's on the ground. 50 Bravo is in round. Hit him.
You haven't missed anything, Maddie. Don't worry. Nothing relevant.
Zach, come on, kid. Let me go.
Go ahead.
You want your effort inside or outside or where they actually are?
Officer Baumler, that's the radio traffic relating to this incident that you're responding to?
Yes,
And you're gathering information as you hear that radio traffic?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Go. Right on the shoulder, boys. Gotta be people. There we go. Come on, figure it out.
Baby Bravo, the patient is unconscious. Tell me she was stabbed in the neck. She's upstairs in the bedroom.
Sorry.
And the subject that was shot is in the bedroom downstairs. Let me ask.
Yeah, we're gonna skip here.
Guns on the bed. Guns on the bed. Let me read it. Ready? Yes.
Is that correct? Is that correct?
I think he's the one who handled some of the guns, chat. I think it's what we're gonna get to here. Hold on.
Yeah.
Is there kids down there? There's kids around the way. Go try outside.
Sir, you accompanied Officer Beckner to the ambulance and all those sorts of things?
So in that situation, I believe what you're trying to ask is, was I in the ambulance with him? Can you clarify?
Well, so at some point, and we just watched Officer Beckner's video. I just want to make sure you went out of the house at the same time he did. Is that correct?
That is not correct, no.
Okay. Did there come up a time where you met up with him at the ambulance?
Yes.
Okay. And then your body worn camera was essentially the same after that? In
Yes.
terms of the hospital and all those sorts of things? Okay. Your Honor, that's the 12 minute, 36 seconds. That's defense exhibit number 83.
Okay, so you'll
And
crop
we'll-
it for me
we'll-
to
yes.
12:36?
Yes.
Okay, to 12:36. All right, thank you. It's in evidence up to 12:36 then.
I don't have any further questions for the
All right,
officer.
cross-examination.
Good morning, officer.
Good morning.
Afternoon, I apologize. When you entered the room, Mr. Banfield was on his knees next to Christine Banfield, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. But Mr. Banfield wasn't using that blue towel we see to staunch the bleeding from her neck, is that correct?
Objection to leading, Judge.
It's
It's
cross-examination.
cross-examination.
I do not believe he was, no.
Okay, and he wasn't using the nearby blankets, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and he wasn't using the sheet?
Correct.
Okay, thank you, nothing further.
All right.
Was he
we good?
wearing the sheet?
Okay, is this witness subject to recall?
Was it a
Okay,
toga
you're good.
party?
Thank you,
Thank you,
officer.
ma'am.
All right, your next witness?
Your Honor, I have a video that Ms. Sands and I have talked about that. Judge, I think the witness that we need for this video is not here right now,
Okay.
so we'll just
Next.
move on.
Next witness?
My next witness is Leanne Singley.
Do you swear or affirm to testify truthfully in this case under penalty of law?
Thank you.
Oh.
Bear with me, Ms. Singley. Ma'am, can you please state your name, spelling your name for the court reporter?
Sure. My name is Leanne Singley. First name is Lee, capital ANN. Last name Singley, SINGLEY.
And what is your particular professional discipline?
I'm a forensic scientist.
Okay, and what areas of forensic science do you specialize in?
So currently I work mostly in bloodstain pattern analysis.
Okay, and can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury about your background and your training in bloodstain pattern analysis?
Sure.
Why don't you tell
I guess
them-
I'll start with
Why don't you tell them where you work first of all?
my educational background. I have a bachelor's degree in biology and a minor in chemistry from the University of Pittsburgh. I also received a master's degree with a concentration in forensic science from the University of Florida. In 1987, I was hired as a forensic scientist in the Pennsylvania State Police Crime Laboratory. So I'm just entering now my 39th year in forensics. I spent about 17 years at the State Police Crime Lab and received some training regarding various areas of forensics, but in specific to bloodstain pattern analysis, I started my education in that in 1993. Afterwards, I've had basic and advanced training. I've had training in the math and physics of bloodstain pattern analysis, fluid dynamics of bloodstain pattern analysis, the interaction of blood on fabric, so a fabrics training class, and other conferences and training opportunities I've had throughout the years.
Now, ma'am, do you have hold any titles on boards or anything like that relating to your professional associations?
So I'm a member, currently a member of the Organization of Scientific Area Committees, which is a federally convened committee that is assisting the bloodstain pattern community in setting down guidelines and standards of how the discipline should be performed. I've been part of that group for a number of years. Prior to that, there was a similar group that was convened federally called the Scientific Working Group on Bloodstain Pattern Analysis. That began in 2002, and I was a member from the inception of that committee up until that committee was replaced through the Organization of Scientific Area Committees, otherwise called the OSAC.
And groups like the OSAC and the previous organization, what's the intent of those?
So as I stated, the intent is to bring together subject matter experts to help to develop guidance documents, standard documents on how the discipline should be performed, or the training requirements that are necessary, other features of it. And it's not the only forensic discipline that does this. DNA does this, fingerprints, documents examination.
You know what? She's not the state's witness. She needs all the qualifications she can get. So her going overboard, she has to, because remember, as a defense, you're starting in the hole already. So her doing this is exactly what she has to do.
They all have committees that are addressing those issues.
And is this all designed to have uniformity in terms of how it's being practiced?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Or what you just described, is that designed to have uniformity of how Bloodstain?
Yes. I mean, the idea is that we would like all areas, all agencies or entities that perform this discipline to have a framework to which everybody will perform it the same way, or at least similarly, have the same standards that they would use to do what they do. Initially, Swigstein had a large international involvement, so it wasn't just the United States that was offering information into this committee and into these documents. There was a large international component as well.
Okay, and Swigstein, the company that was the predecessor to OSAC, that stands for Scientific Work Group, Stains.
Yeah, so it's Scientific Working Group it was on Bloodstain Pattern Analysis, but they shortened it to Swigstein.
Okay, and did you have any role in running that organization?
Well, as I mentioned, I was a member from its inception. In 2002, I served as the Quality Assurance Committee Chair for a number of years within that group.
And ma'am, have you ever been qualified as an expert to testify in court regarding bloodstain pattern analysis?
I have.
How many times?
So specifically to bloodstain pattern analysis, I'm not sure. I've testified over 90 occasions on various areas of forensics. Greater than 10 of those are bloodstain pattern, maybe more.
And have you ever been qualified in Commonwealth of Virginia?
I have not.
Okay. Have you ever done work within the Commonwealth of Virginia with police organizations?
Yes, I've conducted training for the Virginia State Police on a number of occasions in bloodstain pattern analysis.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd move Ms. Singley in as an expert in bloodstain pattern analysis.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, so moved.
Ms. Singley, you had an opportunity to see Ms. Groff's presentation yesterday, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you actually know her, correct?
I do.
Through your various affiliations.
Yes, sir.
And were you able to, in arriving at,
It's not
well, let me show
uncommon
you
they
a few
know
things
each other.
and see where we go from there. Your Honor, can we show that to the witness?
Yeah, it is shown to the witness.
Okay.
If you can make it a little bigger, it might help.
Yeah.
So
Not that.
If you double click on the file
what
name right
Dexter
there, you
looks
have.
like in real life, yes. This is what a real life Dexter would look like.
No, you have the same problem.
Judge, this is the court's PowerPoint that's coming up. I don't know.
Just gonna be like, oh, sorry, that's my horse born. Sorry.
Well, ma'am, did you have an occasion to review items in this case?
I did.
And if items of evidence relating to this case?
Yeah, so I received photographs, so I didn't actually have the physical evidence, but I did review photographs and videos and things of that nature that would expose me to what was evidence, turned out to be evidence in this case.
Okay. Your Honor, I think I'm going to have to switch the computer just because of that PowerPoint thing that pops up.
Oh my God.
Can I have a 5-minute recess?
No.
Oh. Oh my God. That was awful. Angela says he was crying through the part of the trial where the police arrived and we missed all that. You could hear him crying on the thing, but like it sounded like he was faking it. All right, let's see. Oh, here we go.
Exhibit 0.
It's
As part of the screen.
I can.
All right, here we go.
Ma'am, are you able to see a picture on your screen?
I can.
Did you have an opportunity to
Jasper the
review
cat dude.
this item?
I work for accounting and the JAV system always sucks. Oh, okay. You know my pain. JAVs is fucking awful. It's bug gun for £2 sterling. The King Sterling says, can I explain why the chainsaw was invented? Yeah, it was meant for quick amputations. Faster than a bone saw.
Part of the evidence that you reviewed?
I'm sorry. Judge, have we identified the photograph?
No, I think it's defense 80, at least that's what it was marked yesterday.
83, I believe. Judge, is that-
80.
80? Okay.
Yes.
Ma'am, I'm going to have you look at what has been marked as Defense Exhibit 80. Have you seen that?
I've seen photographs of this item before, yes.
Okay, and what is it that you notice when you look at this item right here?
It's a knife. It looks like to be stainless steel, like a chef's style knife, and there appears to be transfer of bloodstains or some irregular shaped bloodstains along the knife and the blade.
Now, in talking about bloodstains, is there a uniform terminology, or were there attempts to have uniform terminology as to what bloodstains are and varying other descriptive terms?
You mean the actual terms we use when we're writing reports? Yes, the organization that I mentioned to you earlier has set down standard terminology that we would use in the course of writing reports or training, or even just discussing bloodstain pattern analysis. And so that has been published.
And is that how you find, do you find that the terminology is uniform amongst bloodstain pattern analysis?
The goal, that is the goal, that it would cause uniformity, and it has definitely helped since that terminology has been utilized or has been written and published. To say that everyone is using it correctly or abiding by that terminology, I can't say that for sure, but I can definitely say that it has, the ends have sort of, the end result has been what we had hoped it would be, and that is to cause the uniformity of that terminology across the discipline.
Now, did you have an occasion to also analyze or look at other aspects of evidence, like the forensic science reports and things like that?
Yes, when I do a bloodstain pattern analysis, the discipline itself is the study of the size, the shape, the distribution, location, appearance of bloodstains. But in the course of the bloodstain pattern analysis, we also have to include or consider what we call task relevant information. So information that is relevant to the bloodstain pattern analysis, not necessarily extraneous information, but those things would be like the autopsy report or medical reports if the individual wasn't deceased, or the DNA reports or other forensic laboratory reports that will help to actually include or exclude classifications and ultimate interpretations at the end.
Now, ma'am, if you look at the picture, there's a specific circle relating to an area of that knife that you've just identified.
Just for the record, you had marked that as 80A yesterday.
80,
the one with the circle.
80A. Yes, thank you.
That's what you
identified as Defense Exhibit 80A. Do you see that?
I do.
And do you recall any analysis that you reviewed relating to that particular area of this knife?
Yeah, this is the area of the knife that is at the base of the blade where the handle meets up, and it is one of the areas that was sampled for DNA analysis.
Okay, and did you observe any findings relating to that?
Yes, this area of the knife had DNA. The DNA of Christine Banfield and Joseph Ryan could not be eliminated from that sample.
And were there any others that were excluded from that sample?
I believe Brendan Banfield and Juliana were eliminated.
Okay. And is that what you're referring to? The next page?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's...
Your Honor, I would object. This is not...
Well, I mean, he hasn't entered anything into evidence yet, but...
Understood.
And I don't know what this would be marked as.
Okay. ADB?
You already have it.
Or AD...
you have ADB, ADC, ADD, 82, 83.
I'll go ADE.
ADE. All right, he hasn't entered into evidence. He's just showing the witness.
And what do you see this is, ma'am?
It's the results of the bloodstain, the DNA report that addressed this area of the knife.
Okay, and that's a report that you reviewed in your analysis?
I did.
And this is a portion to highlight that particular statement?
Yes.
Okay. And ma'am, is this also from the report?
Are you going to mark this something?
ADF? Did you have a chance to review that?
Yes.
Okay, and is this also a report that you reviewed, a portion of it?
Yes.
Okay, and what does that tell you?
Again, it's indicating that Christine Banfield...
Your Honor, I would object to the witness reading from a report that has not been admitted into evidence and is not the complete
Okay, I'll
report.
sustain that
That's
objection.
fine. That's fine. And ma'am, did you have occasion to review the Office of the Medical Examiner's report relating to Joe Ryan?
I did.
Okay. And what, if anything, did you observe in your analysis relating to the pictures from the Office of the Medical Examiner?
Well, I looked at the photographs of Joe Ryan at the autopsy examination, and in part of that, I was able to review the injuries that he sustained.
Okay. Now, the topic of self-wounding came up with Ms. Graff yesterday. Is self-wounding something that is often found in knife injuries?
Your Honor, objection is to leading.
Well, I'll sustain it leading if you want to rephrase.
Okay. What, if anything,
That was really leading.
do you find as an expert in knife-related wounds?
So in knife-related activities, investigations that involve sharp instruments, so knifings, things like that, those nature. We often see the assailant, it's not uncommon for the assailant to self-wound during those. In fact, when I'm training individuals, it's one of the things I train law enforcement investigators to ensure that they look to areas of the crime scene that may be far further away from the victim's bodies to find an isolated blood drop or things like that. So we know this to happen, and it can happen in various mechanisms during the activity that's going on in terms of the criminal investigation. But it's not an uncommon occurrence.
Okay. Were you able to note where the injuries were in your examination for Joe Ryan?
It was on his left thumb, I believe.
Anything? Did you observe anything else?
I think it was a puncture. It was listed as a puncture wound.
Now, is that the puncture wound that you're talking about?
I'm sorry, I can put it back on.
Sorry.
What,
this would be ADF?
it was ADB yesterday.
ADB.
Okay.
So this photo here that you have now,
This is ADB.
the wound was listed as a central cut puncture of the palmar aspect of the left thumb, and that is what's being depicted here.
Okay. And if ADF, Judge, would that be the next in line?
You have one marked ADC, which I had put down as
This is the problem when the evidence, when the exhibits get all fucked up, it's a pain in the ass.
finger of Joseph Ryan, and I'm not sure if that's the same picture that you used yesterday when you're showing the other expert.
I'm not certain either, Judge. What's the next one, ADD?
Well, we'll do ADC. I mean, we can make this ADC. That's
ADC,
fine. You haven't
yes.
entered it in evidence yet, so ADC.
And ma'am, is this a picture that you've observed in your analysis of the documentation relating to this case?
Yes, these are part of the autopsy
And
photographs.
is that the same injury that you previously discussed and identified?
It's on the left. Yes, it's in the same location.
And what is that picture of, ma'am?
It's another photo of a different orientation of the thumb.
Okay, so the same injury?
What do you
Appears to be, yes.
What do you want to mark that as?
ADD,
You have a D, you have an E, and you have an F.
ADG,
Okay.
Now, ma'am, in your review of the body, so let's just go through. What did you review, or did your review include body-worn camera?
It did.
Okay. Were you able to review body-worn camera to determine if there were any injuries to Brendan Banfield's hands?
Yes.
Okay. What, if anything, did you find?
Well, I reviewed the video, the body cam video that took him into the ambulance, and they specifically looked at his hands for injuries. And I guess it was an EMT, whoever was in the ambulance with him, it indicated there were no injuries.
Okay. Now, ma'am, if you could take a look at the screen. This is the full Office of the Chief Medical Examiner report. Have you had an opportunity to review
There's
that?
nothing on the screen. There's nothing on the screen.
She's on FetLife too, I bet.
Can you see the picture on the screen? Ma'am, can you see the picture on the screen?
I can.
Okay. And do you recognize that?
This is the DNA report.
Okay. And I'm going to scroll down. Is this the area down here where the cursor is that you previously reviewed?
Yes.
Okay. And that informed your conclusions as to the blood stain near the handle and the handle juncture?
Yes.
And ma'am, can you see this on your screen?
I can.
Okay, and you've reviewed this. This is the report of June 9th, 2023 of the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner?
Yes.
And I'm just going to scroll down. Ma'am, looking at where the cursor is on the screen, is that what informed you as to the exhibit previously?
Yes, this is an area that describes additional injuries.
Okay. Now, did you have an opportunity to review a report from DLI, a private laboratory?
I did.
Okay, and in that report, can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what was the sample that they were providing?
So in the DLI report, there was a sample that they that was collected by them on the area of Joe Ryan's jeans. That was the waistband, I think interior and exterior waistband zipper, and I believe the button area. But the significance of their sampling was that in their report, they stated that the sample was taken avoiding staining, meaning that they were not trying to collect staining, they were trying to avoid stained areas of that part of the jeans.
Okay, and what would you say about avoiding the staining and still having a laboratory analysis? What are they looking for?
Typically, they're looking for a DNA source that's not coming from staining. So touch DNA, or sometimes they'll do it just to determine who the wearer is of an item of clothing, or sometimes they'll do it just to see if somebody touched that area, that they're curious if they can find the DNA from that individual.
Okay, and do you recall the results of that report?
I believe the results of that area, that included DNA sources from Christine Banfield and Joseph Ryan, but Brendan and I believe Juliana were both eliminated.
Okay, so let me kind of shift gears here about bloodstain pattern analysis and what you do when you first start out doing it in a case.
You mean my general methodology of how I...
Remember, chat, just because your DNA is not there doesn't mean you didn't touch it. Like this bottle of like this bottle of glue, the sprayer adhesive. I'm touching it. I may not leave fingerprints. I may not leave DNA. That doesn't mean I didn't touch it. It just makes it less likely.
I do an approach. So when I get a case now, and currently I get a case, I want to know as little information about the case as possible. So I try to limit whoever is requesting it from me to just the information that I need to know in terms of the bloodstain. So typically that might be like how many individuals were injured, or if there was more than one deceased, more than one bleeder, what their injuries might have been, things of that nature. And then I will get whatever materials are provided to me. I start looking through the photographs, determining what I can say or maybe not say about certain pattern types. We call that the characterization. We characterize them, as I mentioned, through the size, the shape, the distribution, location of the stains. We look to see how they might correlate with each other. And then we begin or attempt to list a classification or classify them in what might have caused them. So earlier I talked about those characteristics, and I think it's important to understand that bloodstain pattern analysis is answering a very different question than DNA analysis. DNA is answering the who, the BPA, the bloodstain pattern analysis attempts to answer the how. So how the bloodstains got to a location. So once I've done that initial preliminary classifications or some idea of what I believe this might be coming from, I'll then incorporate in things like the autopsy report, DNA analysis, that will help us to refine that classification, maybe eliminate some things that I might have kept in the running in terms of the classification. Then at the end, we discuss what those classifications mean in terms of the DNA and what we might be able to interpret in terms of individual events or things that happened at a particular crime scene.
Now, can you see the picture that's on the screen there?
I can.
Okay. Your Honor, I would identify that as Defense Exhibit 84.
I believe it's already the Commonwealth's Exhibit 173, is that
So
correct?
Judge, the original picture was admitted as Commonwealth's 173.
Okay.
His manipulation of the picture to show the cropping side by side with the original is not.
Okay, so, all right, so what number did you want
I
to
think
make?
84 was the next one.
Yes, okay.
Ma'am, can you describe what you're seeing there on the screen?
Yes, this is the left forearm of Joseph Ryan and bloodstains that were on that left forearm.
Okay. And did you create this side-by-side comparison?
I did.
And what was the intention of that? What were you trying to show?
Just it gives an overall of the arm. You kind of see it in that perspective, and then just I put a square around the area that I cropped so that you could kind of see it how it related to the arm in total.
Okay. Your Honor, can I move that in as Defense Exhibit 84 and
Are they
publish it to the jury?
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, 84 in evidence.
Can you describe what you're looking at for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, and what it is that you do in analyzing something like this?
So first, let's start with what I do when I'm analyzing something like this. Again, I know I'm sounding repetitive, but I look at things like the size, the shape, the distribution, location.
All right, chat. We're gonna switch over. Afix has these done right. We have captioning. So guys, tell Afix thank you. They said they weren't ready yet, so we're gonna do this and switch over to here. Thank you again, Afix. I appreciate it. Let's try this out. Let's see what we get. Perfect time for the Hella Raid.
I can sort of inform.
Hi, Hella Raiders. But yes, thank you so much. How is this dude so bad at evidence numbering? Okay, keep in mind, guys, this trial has like a million exhibits. Like, I get it. Everyone, like, he may not be the best at it, but a lot of people are going to screw this up. And the state has not been the best either. He's just more noticeable, so. I'm just saying. So, you have the semen hunters. Oh, yeah, anyways, here we go. But yes, hi, Helen, everybody. Yes, thank you. Hi, thank you for the birthday wishes. Hi, Hella. Hope you guys are doing well. Anyways, we're on day 5 here. We got the defense's blood spatter expert coming out to talk about stuff. Oh, shit. Did I not hit play? I did hit play. Oh, I hit play here. Sorry, guys. I hit play on the other one. I'm sorry. I'm watching the other screen. Oh, goddamn. That's why it didn't work. Oops. I'm sorry. I was listening to the other lady go and go and go. Sorry.
What our size might be, but I don't have a true size. I did call them smaller because they appeared smaller compared to things around it in the area. But yeah, I mean, certainly the more information you have, the more data we can use to then make a classification.
Sorry,
Based on the information that you had relating to these
yes,
things.
I hate us. I hate you guys.
I did not make a classification, and it's this target surface did not lend to classifying these stains to a specific mechanism.
Now, let's switch gears a little bit. In terms of how blood falls on things, can you opine as to what kind of pattern would be created if someone put blood onto a surface?
Put blood on how? How are you? I mean, touching a surface? If it's
holding blood and dropping it?
If an individual had, say, blood in their hands that had enough volume for it to release, like if it were to just drop to the ground, we would call that a splash pattern. So it would be a large volume of blood that is falling due to gravity. It's not, you have to be careful to not include their hands swinging, because if their hands swing in that process, now you have cast off, which is blood being released from an object in motion. If it's just merely falling onto the surface, then you would get a splash pattern. That usually will then have sort of a parent area of where the volume of the blood is. And then because that parent area was created with blood sort of collapsing into itself, it'll create satellite spatters around that area.
Okay, and have you worked with those kinds of patterns?
Yes, I mean, I make up mock crime scenes for my training, so I've created
Guys, I'm sorry. We're not good with technology. Please forgive us.
them myself by doing that.
Now, is it plausible for someone to scoop up blood and carry it to a deposit somewhere?
I'm sorry.
Objection, leading.
All right, I'll sustain as to leading.
What, if anything, well, first of all, let's just talk about how would one scoop blood?
Scoop?
I don't know how you would do that.
Okay.
You can scoop it up from something like, it's a fluid, I think would be difficult. It's not
See, I don't know. This is like, and this is something I'm going to explain here. You can talk to a witness way ahead of time and say, I'm going to talk about X. Like, they would have had a chance to prepare the night before. Like, so this idea he's going to ask her, can you scoop up blood? Why the hell haven't you asked her this question already? And why the hell do you already not know the answer? That's sloppy. You should already know the answer to this question. I don't know what the deal is here. This is kind of garbage.
Like you can, like you have a dustpan that you could, you know what I mean? When I think of scooping in that nature, I just think in terms of if I had spilled something on my floor in the kitchen, I wouldn't be able to pick it up with my hands, if that's what you're asking me.
Okay. If does the surface that the blood is on, does that, I mean, you're saying you don't know how it can be scooped, but does the surface matter?
Yes, I mean, yeah, I mean, if you have the blood on something that's porous and absorbent, then there would be less blood that you'd be able to even scoop, if you will. If you know what I mean, there would be less blood. You wouldn't be able to access it because it would be soaking in to an absorbent surface.
Okay. Have you ever experienced in blood stain pattern analysis someone scooping blood and pouring it in another place?
No.
What would be the difficulty?
Why would you answer?
If that were to have happened?
God damn.
Well, I think getting it into your hands to begin with would be a challenge, and then transferring it.
Your Honor, I would object at this time. Calls for speculation. She's just testified that she's not had any experience with any scooping of blood. So I'm not.
Speculation.
I think her expertise in blood spatter analysis gives her an opportunity to opine as to how it could be done if it was.
I'll sustain that, for that question, I'll sustain the objection if you want to rephrase.
Oh my God, that was awful.
Blood as a fluid, is it possible to pick it up?
Pick it up on, yeah, I mean, I think it's difficult. I think the difficulty here is, of course, you can touch blood and it picks up onto your finger.
Okay, look. I get it when it's like a witness on cross and they're being retarded for the sake of being retarded. And they're like, me, to you. But this is your witness, Haas and Pfeffer. This is your witness, Haas. Why don't you have this thing scripted out a little bit? Why didn't you have this shit scripted out just a hair? The defense is trying to say scooping is absurd. She's not giving him the answer he wants, though, and that's the problem. You know, that's the thing here. She's not giving him the answer he wants. And you can hear it in his voice. She's not doing what he wants. But still, this is where this should have already been cleared up well in advance, or at the very least last night. Hey, I'm going to ask you this. What will your answer be? This is not this, you guys are making fun of her for not having shit prepared. This is the shit that needs to be prepared.
Right, like if you, as a transfer stain, I think the fact that it's a fluid, the challenge is that if you're trying to collect and keep it in the confines of your hand, the first part is getting it into your hands, and the second part is not having it seep back through your fingers, out of your hands. Does that make sense? So like the only thing I can use to describe it is when I'm making a mock crime scene, sometimes we'll put blood in our hands and make like an impact pattern from it. And just putting small amounts in the hand, it's difficult to contain it within in the hand, even in doing that, right? So that's about the closest I can get to having an experience of what it's like to actually, and that's when we pour it into our hand from, a cup. I know this sounds we do this because we use real blood when we do training. So I know what it's like to have blood in the hand, and trying to work with it in that way. It's a challenge.
Okay. So just to follow through with your example, what is it that you're trying to show when you would do these trainings?
So all I'm doing is or me or my trainer will put it in there, because we're going to ultimately smack it to create an impact pattern. And by putting it in your hand, you're able to place your hand in a mock crime scene to kind of mimic where somebody might have been beaten or something like that. So we're using it as a training tool for that purpose. It was just an example of the challenge of keeping it contained within the palm of your hand.
Okay. Now, going back to your review
Thank you,
of
by the way.
the evidence in this case
phenomenal.
for purposes of blood stain pattern analysis, did you see anything that indicated that Joe Ryan not being involved in the stabbing?
Leading?
Yes, I'm sorry. Objection, leading.
All right, I'll sustain us to leading.
Okay. What indications, what if anything, do you look at to determine if someone's involved or not involved in an incident dealing with stabbing?
I think maybe I would like to answer it in the methodology of how I look at a bloodstain case. Once I've evaluated the pattern types and come to some classifications and come to some interpretations of how they might relate to each other, I might be asked, or sometimes I'll even have information, like I might have had in this case, to look at it and think of it in terms of statements that were made, or in that we had information from the body cams that I had when I was looking at that. So when I do that, I can kind of evaluate the evidence to see if there's anything that sort of doesn't seem to align with one way or another, or some things that, not necessarily that do, but more looking for the things that might raise, quote, the red flag, like kind of go, oh, this doesn't seem to align with that. Maybe I need to do some more exploration or find out more information about that. So that's what I did in this case.
Okay, and did you, and it sounds to me like you're looking for things that rule someone out and things that stay with the possibility of being one of the people there?
Yes.
Okay, in your pattern analysis, bloodstain pattern analysis, did you find anything that would exclude Joseph Ryan as being involved in the stabbing?
Objection calls for a final conclusion. Goes to the.
If you want to approve.
Yes, please.
I don't. Well, hold on. I need to rehear that.
And stay with for things that rule someone out and things that stay with the possibility of being one of the people there.
Yes.
Okay. In your pattern analysis, bloodstain pattern analysis, did you find anything that would exclude Joseph Ryan as being involved in the stabbing?
Objection calls for a final.
I mean, not really, because you could say, like, we found evidence of, the exclusion, inclusion. So this has just been really bad so far.
Now, in terms of your discipline of bloodstain pattern analysis, is it your experience that everything can be labeled based upon an analysis?
Judge, objection is leading.
What, if anything?
I'll sustain the objection. Go ahead.
What, if anything, is your experience as to labeling every aspect of spots, even if they're not tested?
I'm not sure what you mean by labeling. You mean classifying them?
Classifying.
Why didn't you clear this ahead of time? The blood spatter lady was done yesterday. Why are you not making sure this is set up right? Fuck. Homie, come on.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, say it again. So what is my experience regarding whether you can classify everything in a crime scene? Oh, no, many times we can't classify certain stain patterns because of some of the things I already mentioned. It could be the target surface, the amount of stains that we have, the other data that isn't just available for us to form that classification. So that's not uncommon. And we can't really classify every single bloodstain. We don't attempt to. In many cases, we could be doing it a long time if we tried to identify or even address every bloodstain that's at a crime scene.
Okay, and in listening to her testimony yesterday, did you have any agreement or disagreement with what she said about certain bloodstains?
There were certain bloodstains that I did not provide classification for that she did.
Okay, and were there any in particular that you're speaking of?
Well, the forearm stains was one area. The 4 irregularly shaped stains that are on the forearm, she provided a classification for as being drip stains, and I did not.
Okay, and why did you not provide a classification?
Again, as I stated, the target surface here really distorted or what we were able to see to get that sort of well-formed circular stain that you would be looking for to be able to say that it's a drip stain from the exclusion of all other mechanisms. Because once you've classified it as a certain mechanism, you've excluded everything else. I didn't feel there was enough information here for me to do that. And this target surface, it would be inappropriate, I believe, to do that because the target surface was not ideal for being able to do that.
Now, if you didn't have enough information, would it be possible after the fact, which is what
Objection is leading.
All right, I'll stay in bleeding. Is this a good time to take our lunch break?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and take our lunch break for an hour. Please do not discuss the testimony with discuss the case with anybody, and don't do the outside research, okay? Thank you.
Okay. Wow, chat. Like, we're gonna get through that. That ate up a bunch of time. We're like, we just burned through we went through 2 times speed getting rid of the body cams. Did she even roll in the objection? Yeah, she overruled it, or she sustained it. I mean, sorry. Yeah, Libby, blood spatter could be voodoo. Anything that requires independent analysis like that is going to be voodoo. It's just more widely accepted voodoo. So let's see here. So they went about an hour. Okay, let's back. There we go. We're at time. Judge Escarita keeps this thing going fast. I give her credit because just like Giant Deptile, she was going. Gwen Garnett says, physical evidence shows neither Juliana or Brandon are innocent. I agree, but that was so poorly done. I don't know if it's clear that that's been established by the defense here. I don't think the defense did a good job. I just don't know, like, you know, and guys, I'm going to say this attorney is probably a very good attorney. It just happens to be this is his, like the day he's going like 0 for 4 at the plate. Also, do you guys like, I turned on another light. Is it better lighting wise, or do you like it? Is it too bright? Let's see. What do you hear? So that's where we are right now. That's where we are. Ooh, wow. Some shit might be going down in the Aaron Spencer case. Like I said, I got to text Bob out of here. Yeah, no lunch break for you guys. Christina make a tragic decision. I don't know what she... Well, are you arguing that she did use the phone? Because otherwise, her only decision is marrying a husband who starts fucking the Brazilian nanny. Otherwise, Jeff just looks like DSP set up. Thanks, dude. All right.
All right, your next question.
Thank you.
Mavka says, I don't look at your camera, to be honest. Well, that kind of hurts.
Good afternoon.
You listened to Ms. Groff's testimony yesterday, correct?
Yes.
Did you hear her discussion of the position of Joe Ryan and the blood, whatever she called it, on Joe Ryan? Do you remember that discussion?
Yeah, you mean specific to his arm? Is that what you're referring to?
Specific to his position on the ground.
Yes, I did hear her talk about that.
Did you agree with that?
That the bloodstains would indicate that he was lying on the ground?
Yes.
No.
And what can you point to in your expertise that would
I mean, it's not
have you arrive at
outlandish.
that conclusion?
Well, so I guess starting with, I believe that she mentioned that the stains that were the 4 linear stains that I did not classify, she classified them. So that's where the first divergence was. So then that classification is what led her to say that he would have been in a position lying on the ground when they were deposited, if I recall correctly. So the first part is that as I mentioned before lunch, the target surface didn't lend to classification to start with, and to go on to then determine what that classification would mean in terms of his positioning is the part where it starts by the fact that I didn't believe that a classification could be made. Then to go on further to say what that classification would mean would be why I would disagree.
Okay. And was there evidence that you observed that would have supported different conclusions than that, other than not being able to classify?
So maybe the best way to describe this is to have you understand what a drip stain is in terms of bloodstain pattern analysis. A drip stain is a stain that is formed by gravity alone. So it's not just a circular stain you see on the surface. It's a circular stain that arrived by a passive formed by gravity. So it's not something that happened that's circular from another mechanism, but it just happened to hit the ground at perpendicular, making it circular. It is formed only through gravity alone. So the fact that I didn't classify it as anything was the first part. But then on top of that, if you have just the fact that something is circular does not make it a drip stain. It's one of the features you can look at, but it doesn't mean that it's a drip stain. So there are other mechanisms that when the blood is going through the air, say from an impact, say somebody was being beaten with a hammer. When the blood goes through the air, it goes in a parabolic arc. And if it doesn't hit anything in that trajectory, it will eventually fall to the ground. And when it hits the ground, it's going to look circular. But if it hits the wall on the vertical surface, it's going to look circular there too, because anywhere it hits a perpendicular, it will look circular. But we look at the size of them to kind of help to inform whether it could just be a drip stain, something that just was because somebody was standing over something and dripping blood, or if it was because of another mechanism. So because we didn't have a lot of these features, there was no classification done, because the size helps to inform that, and then the shape itself and the fact that we have this target surface to eliminate any of those other mechanisms, to only say that these are coming from drip stains and coming from above was part of the problem. Going further, if they were drip stains, it doesn't mean that because his arm was this way, that he was down on the ground. It just means that the arm was in a position horizontal to where the passive drop was coming. Because people move around, your arm can be in, your body can be in different positions when you do that. So the orientation of your body and where that is in relation to where the blood is coming from is going to be how it will look like on that surface. But it's hard to then say, oh, the person was in this position just because there's something circular here that I think is a drip stain, and therefore because it's coming from above, he has to be on the ground lying down.
And if you were, as you've indicated in your previous testimony, that you would need more information, what more would you need other than what you just said in order to even make the determination?
Objection calls for speculation.
You mean what? I'm sorry.
Objection calls for speculation.
I'm just asking her what other tools.
Overruled, that's right.
Yeah, I think, I mentioned earlier, same answers as I would be looking at the size, shape, distribution, location, appearance. Those are the features that I look for and determine that this is a drip stain to the exclusion of all other mechanisms. I would want to look for something that would look perfectly circular, that I could see scalloping all around the edges or spining around the edges, or it's perfectly circular on, like, say, a smooth surface, and that it has some size to it that would indicate that it's coming from just gravity forming it. If it's tiny, then, and I see it in terms of other, maybe in terms of other spatter stains in that area, I'm going to presume it's coming from or classify it as something coming from a mechanism that's a spatter producing mechanism as opposed to just a single passive drop. So sometimes we can't tell. I mean, we just have to look for those features and hope that if the target surface allows for it, we can classify it.
And in the absence of concrete information.
That's a lot of wish casting. Wow, that's not very.
Objection leading.
Yeah. How confident do you guys feel about this being an established science now? How confident are you guys? This is legit science at this point. Show of hands. Show of hands that it's okay to say nope, because I understand. Doesn't sound very confidence inspiring, huh? That's how they do it.
In the absence of additional information you want, how does one resolve that?
You go back to the higher classification. So if we start at bloodstain, and then we might go to a spatter producing mechanism of some sort, and then we can classify that either to cast off or impact or expirated blood. If we don't have the features to meet those on each level of that, we revert back to the level that's higher. And so in this case, I just said, these are blood stains, and I described them. They were irregularly shaped, somewhat three-dimensional on the arm.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
All right, cross-examination.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
So to stay with where we just left off,
Okay.
You're keeping it at the classification level that's up here because you don't have enough information to go a next step. Is that correct?
Yes.
But that doesn't inherently mean that that next step isn't a possibility, right?
Well, I don't consider the possibilities, because if I can't go beyond the classification, then I didn't go beyond the classification. There's a reason I stopped.
Sure.
So I wouldn't.
But because you stopped, that then leaves all of the options still available. None have been excluded, correct?
I mean, every possible mechanism that could possibly produce a blood stain.
Yes.
Yes, I guess. Yes.
Yes, including drops from above.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Going back for just a moment, you testified regarding the DLI lab, and you stated that the test sample was the pull from the genes avoiding staining. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, say that again. I
You
didn't hear that.
testified about the DLI DNA lab,
Mhm.
specifically that the sample was a swab or a portion of Joseph Ryan's genes avoiding staining. Is that correct?
Avoiding staining. Yes,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
but did you also read in the report that that sample was positive for blood?
Yeah, so it didn't say it was positive for blood. It said that blood was indicated in the sample. And so what that means is that they did a presumptive test. So that's a test that,
Right, we heard about that from our DNA experts.
yeah, so the blood wasn't identified in that sample. It was an indication that there was blood there. And I think to clarify that the testing that is used in that instance is a very sensitive test that can pick up blood that you
Judge, I'm
can't
going to
see.
object. I don't think she's presented any foundation for knowledge of how the testing was conducted. If
You
and
asked
that wasn't
for
my
it.
question.
All right, we can ask your question again. Let's go that way.
The laboratory result said that blood was indicated, yes or no?
Yes, that's not what you asked me though. You said it was found. The test only said that blood was indicated.
Okay,
And yes.
thank you. That's all I have, Judge.
Okay, any redirects? Is this witness subject to recall?
Yes.
All right, so since you're subject to recall, just don't discuss your testimony with anybody, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Karen, if I can consult with counsel for
Yes.
just a moment.
I'm sorry.
Wow, that's still not courtroom appropriate. Like Pink Panther shit, whatever.
The witness is not subject to recall.
Okay, you are not subject to recall, ma'am, so you're free to go if you wish. All right, thank you. All right, your next witness?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Brendan Miller.
Oh, I thought you said Brendan
Brendan Miller?
Banfield for a second. I was like, whoa.
I need like space for my paper.
You swear or affirm to testify truthfully in this case under penalty of law.
You don't have to go away. I can start my own notes.
Yeah, that is true. Everybody thought the Wright brothers were faking it for over a year. A lot of people didn't believe them. It took them a while to get recognized for their accomplishment nationally. Oh, come on.
For the court reporter.
Yes, my name is Brendan Miller, BrendanMiller.
And where do you currently work?
Fairfax County Police Department.
In what capacity do you work in the Fairfax County Police Department?
I'm a detective in the child exploitation section.
Okay. During your...
Oh, here we go, chat.
Were you involved in this case as an investigator? At any point?
Yes.
Okay, and what was your capacity as investigator?
I was the digital forensics examiner for this case.
And when did that change?
About a year ago.
Sorry, almost there.
Yeah, thank you, Afix. It's still better than YouTube, 100%. This guy looks suspicious because he doesn't want to get fired for saying the wrong things. But it appears there was a cover-up in the police department. So yes, there's a lot going on here.
In child exploitation, do you utilize the same skills that you had when you were at digital forensics?
I do.
Okay. And so when you left digital forensics, did you leave of your own volition?
I did not.
And was the transfer to child exploitation?
Yes, the transfer was to child exploitation.
Okay. How long had you been in digital forensics prior to being transferred?
Since roughly 2019, so about 5 years.
Okay. And how many cases had you handled in digital forensics prior to that transfer?
I don't recall the exact number.
Okay. Were you the person who did the digital forensics in the Fairfax County Police?
One of them.
How many others are there?
There were 6 at the time, I believe.
And now when you were transferred out, this was in the middle of the investigation of this case, correct?
I don't know if I would classify it as the middle or where it was.
It was during the pendency of this case.
Yes, this case was still going on.
Okay. And in your capacity as digital forensics examiner, I'm going to ask you to look at a document. Judge, do you see anything on the screen?
Just your screensaver.
Okay.
He's like, please don't look at my horse porn, Judge. My lolly folder is what he's worried about. You know, it's the narcotics. You have to know and love narcotics.
My apologies, Judge.
In the child exploitation unit, do you have to have experience exploiting children before they let you on?
Sir, can you see that on the screen?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay. Do you recognize that?
I do.
Okay, and what is that?
That is an executive summary.
And this is an executive summary that you wrote as digital forensic examiner for the Fairfax County Police?
Yes.
Did you want to mark that as a
Yes, Your Honor. 85, please. Offense
85 for the
85.
record? Just thank you.
And sir, this is your personal digital forensics executive summary, is that right?
I created this document, yes.
Okay. And now, in arriving at these conclusions, this is related to your work as a digital forensic examiner, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I move this in as Defense Exhibit 85.
Any objection?
Yes, Judge. At this point in time, I think this would qualify as an expert report. This witness has not been qualified as an expert, nor has any foundation been laid for the report.
Okay, so foundation is the objection, so sustain that objection if you want to leave.
I can do that.
Sure.
So, sir, tell me about your experience in digital forensics.
In what regard?
From the moment you got into digital forensics, what kind of training did you have?
I received training in a variety of forensic tools and training specific to computer systems, specifically the International Association of Computer Investigative Specialists, IASIS. I've also been trained with Cellbrite and current in both of those certifications, and training with Magnet and Bexways and various other forensics platforms.
Okay. And did you receive additional training beyond that within the Fairfax County Police?
I'm also certified for BURLO, which is the vehicle forensics. Various other trainings at different times.
Have you ever been qualified as a witness in the courts?
All right, let's say the Uvaldi verdict is in. All right, let's go see what that is. Do you guys want to see it real quick or no? We can go take a look if it's in. You guys interested or not? I'm kind of curious myself. So let's take a look. All right, let's go find out what's going on here. Uvaldi, UVALDE trial. All right, here we go, chat. Well, where is it? Let's see here. How many people are watching? Oh, a lot, it looks like. So he should get a 2-word verdict on this. I don't think there should be let me see how far back they've it's been over an hour, it looks like. Well, actually, no.
We had a lot of testimony about.
It looks like it just came back. We might be waiting a minute. It's theater seating. That's a nice courtroom. I appreciate that. It's like it's better than having bench seating. No, I understand it was just announced, but what time will it come back? Do they know? I mean, that's kind of the big question here. Like, they have a verdict, but what time are we doing the verdict? Because is it going to be like an hour is my only thought. What's it about? This is the school. This is the officer who showed up at the Uvaldi school when the guy was shooting up the classrooms. And they're claiming he did not do anything to stop him from entering the school, basically. And I sat with Nick Storm. We watched a bunch of stuff. I think it's a load of horse shit, personally. So, yeah. Oh, based on what the judge said, it'd be about 2 to 3 minutes. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's okay. I was just asking how long it might be, because if it's like, we're doing the verdict, it's like an hour away, well, then we might wait. So. So let's see here. I'm kind of curious. I don't think he should be convicted. I think he should be acquitted. I think his conviction, or I think this trial is a travesty, honestly. And you guys know I'm not a fan of the cops a lot of times, but I don't think this guy did anything wrong. Based on what I saw so far from Nick Starro, I can't see anything this guy did wrong. Honestly. This dude is taking for the school pretty much. He's being forced, he's being thrown out there as a scapegoat. Because it's not like he could have done anything anyway. Really. I mean, there wasn't anything he could do. He was trying to figure out where the hell it was all happening. And there were other cops who actually watched the guy go in the school, and they never got in trouble for not fighting back. So, I don't want him to be convicted. I don't think he should be convicted. We'll see, though. We shall see, chat. Let's see what you guys are thinking. Sweet Tooth says it's only a matter of 3 minutes. Oh, it's less than 3 minutes. Green Cat saying, don't set a sit-around standard for cops. He wasn't sitting around. The other cops were sitting around, actually. That's the ironic part. He didn't do anything wrong. Like, he was actually trying to figure out what the fuck was happening. Trenton says he's charged for a 3-minute window. It's actually more like 1 minute because he gets on the scene, and within a minute, the guy's already in the school, really. Candace Owens got sent a cease and desist by Turning Point USA. We'll have to look at that for the Thursday show because that sounds funny. Sounds very funny. Jean is saying, my UK barrister friend has tried all kinds of terrible cases, but the one she did about African migrants coercing kids into sex slavery in London saw her quit for a year. I can see that. Shit can get really nasty. I understand he's got a duty and he tried, but the other cops fucking ran around like little bitches. I think it's bullshit. A bunch of cops didn't fucking do anything. So, is this the commander on the scene? No, that's Arredondo. He's the police chief. He is not on trial. His is going to be different. I think he's a piece of shit for what he did. Telling everybody to stand down and go against all, training since, basically Columbine. What he did was really, really wrong, and I think it was bad. So. All right, here we go. Let's see. I really hope it's a 2-word verdict. It's got to be a 2-word verdict for this guy. It's wrong if they convict him. Yeah, there are cops who would have been better suited as defendants, 100%. That were far better and far more culpable than him. Yet they never got in trouble.
Please be seated in the courtroom. Members of the jury, I've received information that you have a verdict. Could I have the presiding juror stand momentarily? Is that verdict unanimous, sir? Yes. As to each of the 29 counts? Yes. Could you hand it to the bailiff for me, and you may be seated? Could I have defendant and counsel please rise?
Let's see.
All right, because number 25 FC 0001U, the state of Texas versus Adrian Gonzalez. In each of the 29 counts, we, the jury, find the defendant, Adrian Gonzalez, not guilty.
Yes.
You see it? All right, members of the jury, I want to thank each and every one of you for your
good verdict.
Close
Good verdict.
attention and your
good verdict.
Patience and being with us timely throughout this trial. I know it was not easy for you. I know everybody was drafted, nobody volunteered. It was a long endeavor, and I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. I'm going to ask you one more time to go with the bailiff to the jury room, and we'll release you from back there. But thank each and every one of you.
Don't think that guy did anything
and
wrong.
Would everyone rise for the jury to be excused? All right, Mr. Gonzalez, you were acquitted by the jury. Your lawyers can talk to you more about this, but you do have the opportunity within a timely manner to file for that expunction. They will tell you further about that, but it's incumbent on me to tell you that immediately after the verdict is returned. All right, we're in recess. Thank you very much.
So, good verdict. Good verdict.
I'm going to tell them, folks, it's up to you. They're released from their instructions. I'm going to tell them that, and then I'll let them.
Yeah, guys, I didn't know enough to know. That's why I'm glad Nick showed it to me. I'm like, yeah, based on this guy should walk. It's entirely reasonable. So, what did the judge say to him at the end? That he has the right under Texas law to have his case sealed because he was acquitted. You should have the right to have that sealed. If the jury doesn't think you did it, the fact you were accused should never be public record anymore. And you have the right to have your record sealed or expunged. And I think that's correct. That should be sealed. So he's telling him, I can't tell you anything to do with it. But your attorneys will tell you how to do it. But under state law, he had to advise him. Let's see here. Stephen Cooper says, I intend on guilty for venue and circumstances. Here you is. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, honestly, like I can see the jurors being all, jurors can get all tampon-y too, but I think they were being realistic about this. And, yeah, they're like, it wasn't his fault. It was all the bitches inside who didn't do anything. So. So there you go. Why was he on trial in the first place, Josh? Politics. They needed somebody to hang, and he was good enough for the job. So. But yeah, thank God we got a righteous verdict today. And by extension, reactions to it, I don't know. We'll see here. It won't get rid of the news articles. There's nothing you can do about that. The internet's forever. Let's see if we can catch up.
I told them they're released. So they're released from all their previous instructions. And I told
See, I mean, and they're just waiting to get everybody out of the courtroom. So there you go. Yeah, the committee wanted to scalp. So. So we'll see. We'll see how the rest of them go. He got fired from the police department, I think. So he's not getting his job back. And I wouldn't want the job back at a place like that if they sold you out. So. Any news on Greenland? No, guys. We haven't taken it yet. We haven't captured it yet. So we'll go back to the Banfield trial. Here we go.
Fairfax County?
You're
qualified as an expert, I'm sorry.
Yes, I have.
Okay, how many times?
2 that come to mind.
Okay, and was that in your capacity when you were a digital forensic investigator?
Yes.
Okay. You're on to move Detective Miller in as an expert in digital forensics?
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, so moved.
Now, sir, is this report the report that you created?
Yes, I wrote this.
And when was this report created?
I don't recall the exact date.
Okay. Was it prior to October 25th, 2024?
I don't recall exactly, but that sounds about the right time frame.
Okay. And that's a significant date because that was if I can remind you, the first recant for Juliana Perez Magalhães? Does that give you a better idea of when this would have been done?
He wouldn't have known that, I don't think.
If memory serves, this was done prior to that.
Okay, that's all we can rely on is your memory. And
How would he know about the recanting?
Your Honor,
He's doing
I
forensic.
don't have any further questions.
All right. You have cross-examination?
I mean, Judge, I would note that, no, I have no questions at this
Okay.
time.
All right.
Those are all the questions,
Is
Judge.
this witness subject to recall?
Yes.
Okay, so since you're subject to recall, you cannot discuss your testimony with anybody. You do not need to stay here today, but just be on call for that, okay? You're still subject to the rule of witness, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. All right, your next witness?
Harry Lidsky.
Do you swear or affirm to testify truthfully in this case under penalty of law? Thank you.
Sir, can you please state your name and spell it for the court reporter?
Harry Lidsky, Harrylid as in David, SKY.
And how are you currently employed?
I'm currently a private investigator and digital forensic examiner.
So what were they saying that they're pointing out here, what was all that about? They're showing that he had already come to a conclusion and that his conclusion said Christine had access to the phone. It wasn't them. And then after that, the nanny recanted and gave different testimony. So that they're trying to show when they couldn't get what they wanted, they had to coerce the evidence out of the nanny. So they're showing it's all bullshit and fabricated is what their ultimate goal is right now. That's what they're trying to show. I assume that's their ultimate goal at this point, because that's kind of like my wheels are turning that way. Yes, he got removed. And they're going to make the argument he got removed because he stood up to the bosses and said, no, this is wrong.
Self-employed at my company, 4DIS.
Okay. And what's your background in terms of digital investigations and investigations?
Prior to starting my own company,
Roscoe, send me the link to that, please.
4DIS, I retired after 20 years in federal law enforcement, 7 years with the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Administration, the remaining 13 years with the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of the Inspector General. For the last 11 of those 13, I was in the Cyber Investigations Office, where I progressed as a senior special agent to the assistant special agent in charge and retired as the special agent in charge of that office. The Cyber Investigations Office handles, as the name would imply, digital forensic examinations. We're responsible for supporting the entire agency nationwide with mobile and computer forensics. Basically anything with an on-off button, anything that was electronic in nature, is where we came, our services were brought to bear. On top of that, we ran our own investigations, those specifically which were digital forensics centric.
And in terms of
That's pretty
issues,
impressive.
have you ever heard of
with a
catfishing?
position.
Yes, I have.
Have you worked within
With being
investigations
ex-DEA, he's
where it's
probably
alleged
dirty,
or it's
yes.
found to be catfishing?
Yes, I have.
So do you understand the elements necessary for catfishing?
I do.
Describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what that exactly is.
It's a form of misattribution in terms of who's performing what activity. So at its core, it's somebody pretending to be somebody else, usually designed to lure somebody else to do something. So it can be employed in a scheme to defraud. It can be employed to get somebody to show up, to get them in trouble, to get somebody to show up to an event they had not intended to show up at, to misdirect somebody to show up for something. A case that I worked, it was employed to misdirect somebody to show up who thought they were coming for a consensual sexual encounter, not unlike this particular case. And in fact, they were there to serve a different purpose, to be set up as a victim, as a utility or a tool in that particular investigation.
So in that particular investigation, was that from the prosecution side or the defense side?
That's when I was a criminal investigator, a federal agent for the Department of Justice.
Okay. Now, in terms of your investigative experience, even beyond digital forensics, can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what kind of experience and what kind of responsibility you had while being a federal investigator?
Well, in addition to the digital forensics, again, 7 years with the DEA, it was drug law enforcement. Pretty straightforward. What you'd expect, I guess, between the street level version of it, domestically, always working our way up towards the source, back to the cartel sources, and usually overseas. But through that, I gained experience with interviewing witnesses, interrogation of subjects, obviously arrest tactics and things along those lines. But there was also a strong money laundering component involved with that. There was surveillance skills were heavily employed during my time with DEA. I did a lot of undercover work with DEA. At the DOJ OIG, the Department of Justice's Office, the Inspector General, we were a watchdog for the Department of Justice. So we.
This guy being an undercover, imagine that. Imagine this guy being your undercover. Ugh.
We investigated both administrative and criminal waste, fraud, abuse type misconduct that occurred within the Department of Justice, that is, employees of the Department of Justice, or also from external actors affecting the business of the Department of Justice. And through that, we did a fair amount of investigations, to the extent that makes sense. There was a number of high-profile investigations. Fast and Furious might be one of those, where our investigation was aimed at the investigation or the operation conducted by the ATF in that particular instance. And we would often find, we would make assessments, recommendations, and even punishment recommendations for employees that acted either out of malice, ignored or abused policy, whether they engaged in misconduct inadvertently or maliciously. Those were the type of findings we would have. So if we found that an investigator failed to adhere to policy, we might have a finding. If we find an investigator lied to us, or in an investigation, somebody within the purview lied to us, we would find they lacked candor. So we, our reports, our investigations resulted in terminations of employees. Sometimes they were.
Judge, at this point in time, I think we've launched into a narrative that is not responsive to the question, nor is it relevant.
All right, if you want to ask the next question.
Well,
continue on that.
It was a question about your investigative background, so please continue.
Yeah, so that was the gist of what we did. So it's pretty broad spectrum of investigative experience. That added component from the OIG of having the investigative oversight and being the watchdog to include over investigations and other police officers, other federal agents, other prosecutors was a nuanced twist, I suppose, in my experience there. In addition, there was the more traditional, straightforward investigations we conducted to include everything from white collar, bribery, catfishing, international money laundering, conspiracies, and the normal type of white collar crime.
And in terms of your investigating the investigation, you were actually dealing with law enforcement people who came.
Objection leading.
All right.
Explain what you did in terms of the investigation.
Oh, Jesus Christ, you're struggling.
Sure. DOJ is huge, the biggest law firm in the world, as we like to say. DOJ includes the FBI, the DEA, the ATF, U.S. Marshal Service, Bureau of Prisons, U.S. Attorney's Offices, Interpol, and about 40 other smaller components, tax divisions.
The White House.
So we're a massive agency far and wide. So we were made up of federal agents, FBI, DEA, ATF, and Marshals. But we were also made up of attorneys. We were made up of auditors. We were made up of all sorts of employees. We had IT employees engaged in inappropriate network activity where they were reading other employees' emails improperly and illegally. So whenever somebody was accused of misconduct, whenever an allegation of misconduct came our way, we would take that on. So it can take all forms.
Now, going back to the digital forensics investigations, you indicated you were there for 11 years?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And during that period of time, were you ever qualified as an expert in the court of law?
Yes, I have been.
Okay. How many times?
I say 3 or 4 at the federal level, and once since retirement here in the Commonwealth.
Okay. Your Honor, I move Mr. Litsky as an expert in the fields of digital forensics and general investigation.
All right.
Judge, I'm not familiar with general investigation as an expert field, but certainly digital forensics we would accept.
I'll move in this for digital forensics expert.
Yes.
Okay.
Sir, you became involved with the Banfield case. What was the first thing that you did when you started reviewing evidence?
The first part of my evidentiary review focused on the digital forensics. I was provided with a rather large volume-wise hard drive, 8 terabytes, I believe.
And the digital forensics, and I guess, Your Honor, I would just state that the digital forensics that are the foundation have all been stipulated to in the stipulation document in terms of
in terms of report of digital.
In terms of the data that was taken from the devices.
Yes, Your Honor. We have stipulated that the raw data pulled from the devices does not need to have a chain of custody or foundation.
So he can talk about the raw data from
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. And so, sir, what's the first step in your analysis of digital forensics when you get involved in the case?
Well, in this particular case, it was atypical because I didn't have to perform any of the acquisition phase of it. Detective Miller had already performed all of the digital forensic acquisition. So what I was provided was generally the derivative elements of his work, which allowed me to just jump right in and review the various artifacts. When I'm performing a digital forensic exam, that's derivative of somebody else's work, I make it a point not to review their findings. The reason being, digital forensics is somewhat analogous to solving a big math problem. So to perform it accurately, or at least the way I like to perform it accurately, I like to do the work myself, see what answer I come up with before I see the answers of somebody else's work. Digital forensics is a science such that we're all trained similarly. We all take the same training. We all operate the same way. If we perform our actions as we should under the guise of best practices, we should do the same thing, each one of us, and come up with the same results. Digital forensics is repeatable. Digital forensics, it should be, it's binary.
Bummer.
The data
That's no
is
good.
the data. It's not subject to interpretation. It's not subjective. So what you see is what you get. There are nuances in understanding it and what it means. Assigning attribution is a different phase of it, but and we'll eventually get past this boring stuff and see some of it. It does reveal what's going on behind the screen, typically on either a phone or a computer.
Now, in terms of the digital forensics in this case, how do you arrive at certain conclusions?
So digital forensics, like most of the forensics, and we've heard a fair amount here so far in this trial, it's supportive. It can be informative. You can draw certain conclusions, but they're based upon the results of the digital forensic analysis and its impact on other items of evidence or other items of investigative nature. And what I mean by that is, for example, if somebody says, if we're investigating a crime that took place in Boston, and somebody says, I have an alibi, I was in Miami, and I look at their phone and there are artifacts that reveal location information in Miami, that is an informative piece that says this individual, based on their phone, might have been in Miami at the time. Now, phones can travel without, are traveling with them. So was the phone there? Was the person there with the phone? So that's a lead. That's a pointer. The follow-up to that would be, okay, do we have airline records? Do we have video surveillance from an airport? Do we have video surveillance from a hotel in Miami? Do we have credit card transactions from a restaurant in Miami? Other indicia of location. So digital forensics is informative. I guess if there's enough digital forensic pointers that can, I think pass a test, then it can be conclusory as well, and we can draw conclusions from it.
And in your example of something in Miami, when you arrive at a certain number of artifacts that say the person's in Miami, is that it?
It can be. That's probably a bad example in terms of being conclusory. If somebody says, there's no pictures of a red sports car on my phone, and I find 100 pictures of Ferraris that are red, that's conclusory to say that the witness information or the interview subject information that they provided to the investigator, whether it was me or somebody else, is clearly wrong. Now, that doesn't get to whether they misremembered, whether those photos are old, whether they were taken by somebody else. So there's still an attribution aspect, but it can be conclusory or informative in that regard.
Okay. Now, in the context of this case, what were you trying to determine based upon the theory of the Commonwealth in this case?
So this case, I have the luxury of coming in at the, after the things had developed. The theory had already been assigned. Catfishing was already Mr. Banfield had been charged already, and indicted under a catfishing theory when I was brought in. So that was my immediate focus. So confirm or refute that theory. As an investigator, whether I'm in my law enforcement capacity or now my private capacity, the facts don't change. The facts are the facts. Facts don't take sides. The truth doesn't take a side. So for me, just because I'm hired or asked to investigate one particular theory, it doesn't mean.
Judge, I would object at this time. This is non-responsive.
All right, I'll sustain as non-responsive.
Okay.
Next question.
Sir, in terms of what you did when you started this investigation into Christine Banfield's devices, what did you do?
So I started evaluating the devices, but at the same time, I reviewed other evidence that was available to me provided in the discovery. That would include witness interviews. That would include subject or co-defendant interviews. That would include social media type event like email, Instagram, Facebook, things of that, WhatsApp. So it's not all a device centric. It can be evidence provided by a service provider like Google or Apple. I reviewed all the photos from the crime scenes, the autopsies, the digital, the forensic science and Office of Medical Examiner. I reviewed all of the facts available to me. The best way to perform what I do is through all source
Judge,
analysis.
objection, non-responsive.
I sustain the objection.
Okay. So in terms of the items that you were just telling the jury that you review, did there come a time where you were reviewing and were able to arrive at conclusions?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And specifically, what date range or what period of time were you looking at?
So the window of time was from January 9th, 2023, specifically with regard to the catfishing, was from January 9th, 2023, obviously through the time of the event on February 24th, 2023. It did extend back a little bit further. For example, the discussion about the windows, that dated back prior to January 9th. There was witness testimony or subject interview transcript information about planning that predated January 9th. So I don't just look at a time for digital forensics. It's important to look backwards for a certain relevant period to ensure that.
Objection, non-responsive.
Sustain the objection.
Why would you look backward in a digital forensic analysis?
A single artifact, as we refer to them in digital forensics, it may not be informative, right? A single text message on this day may lack the context, but the 50 prior exchanges might help that context, right? That's relatable, and the communication after that might also help inform. So it's important to look backwards. It's also important to look forwards in digital forensics. And when we're talking about, in this case, the allegation of conspiracy that lasted a period of months, I find from an investigative perspective that it's important to look at everything. Digital forensics, like any, I think, informative piece of evidence.
Objection, non-responsive.
In the context of certain behaviors that come up through the investigative process, like, for example, when someone may have had their phone and their laptop and when someone would have been away from that, are those things that you look at?
Especially for events like that, what was happening immediately before the event is vital in determining attribution or who might have been performing what activity on a device.
Or saying in another way, would there be...
Objection, leading.
I haven't heard the question yet.
What would you do if there was a pattern of time that needed to be analyzed, or a time of day, or a certain day? How would you go about doing that?
Well, with the digital forensic tools that we have, the software that we have, we're able to visualize things in a timeline fashion. So I'm able to look at, or folks in my profession are able to look at what happened, both what the user was doing and what the system was registering, the computer system. So we're able to generally create a granular timeline that helps inform a decision or conclusion about whether a device might have been removed, from one person and used by another.
Okay. Now, can you see the document that's on your screen?
I see Detective Miller's executive summary.
Yes.
Yes.
Have you had an opportunity to review that?
I have.
Your Honor, can that be published to the jury?
It was not admitted into evidence.
Okay. I'd move it into evidence.
Objection, Judge. It's a hearsay document at this time.
I'll sustain the objection at this time.
Detective Miller testified to it.
If you want to approach.
Who? Sorry.
Sorry, Chad, I'm back now.
Can you see something on your screen there, sir?
I can.
Okay. There's evidence in this case regarding window replacement that was communicated by Juliana Perez Magalhães. Do you remember that?
I do.
Did you do a digital examination? Did you do a digital examination as to the allegations that she made with regard to window replacement?
I performed searches relating to that particular topic. I'm able to perform keyword searches as one of the search criteria. So I did perform searches related to that particular part of testimony, yes.
Okay. And was this part of the information that you'd received from our discovery and the data that came from the devices?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm going to have you look at the document that's on your screen. Can you, Your Honor, I'd identify this as Exhibit 86.
All right.
Can you look at Defense Exhibit 86 and explain what we're looking at here?
Judge, I'm going to object to any statements regarding what's contained in the document.
Are you moving it into evidence, Mr. Carroll?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection?
Yes, I would object to foundation. We have not been given any information about this
Sustained as
document.
the foundation, if you want to lay foundation.
Sir, how did you find these documents and what processes did you use in order to find this information?
So based on the derivative evidence provided to me in discovery on this case, I analyzed this particular one. This came from Ms. Banfield's cell phone.
Judge, I'm going to object to that conclusion. Again, there's been no foundation laid, and we can approach and I can explain further.
There you want to approach.
Sir, what was the raw data that you used in order to get this, and what system did you use to arrive at this?
This was from an Axiom portable case created by Detective Miller. An Axiom portable case is a derivative product from Magnet Axiom for digital forensic software, which performs mobile and computer device review, or facilitates mobile and computer device review and cloud review and all things digital. So the software is baked in. It's an executable program that comes from the main Magnet program. So Magnet permits digital forensic examiners, in this case Detective Miller, to create a derivative subset of his work that is able to be open on any Windows computer. So you don't need to have a software platform. It is a software platform.
And if you can tell the ladies and gentlemen of the juror, or Your Honor, we move that in as almost or defense
If we
activities.
could approach, please.
All right, Chad, I'm sorry. I just read this DHS thing. Holy shit, these guys went insane. I think the DHS broke the law. I think ICE broke the law really fucking bad here. But anyway, sorry. We'll skip ahead.
So the objection is sustained.
Sir, did you work with the raw data that was provided by the Fairfax County Police through search warrants and other providers, things like that?
For service providers, yes. The records I had were responsive from Google, Apple, Facebook, and Instagram, FetLife, and others, Discord. For the computer and mobile devices, I was not provided the raw data. I was provided the derivative work, the portable cases, the Celebrate readers, which to my understanding is the complete device. Nothing is filtered out, but I wouldn't characterize it as raw data.
Your Honor, may I just request a 10-minute recess?
We want to do our afternoon recess? We can do that.
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and take our afternoon recess for 15 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. And we will get right back to you. Again, don't do any outside research, no talk to anybody, okay?
Yeah. Correct.
All right, sir, since you are in the middle of your testimony, you can't discuss your testimony with anybody to include the defense at this point, okay?
Of course, thank you.
All right, we'll be back at 3:15.
All right. Okay. We're going to skip ahead the last little bit here, chat. Here we go.
The questions for Mr. Litsky.
All right.
I would.
Well, what's going on? It sounds like ICE was fucking. They think they don't need a warrant to do this shit, and I don't think there's no way under the 4th Amendment you had the right to enter a house without a warrant. Like that's fucking. That's established. That's 100% established case law. Like that's like that's settled. That's settled. Like, you need a fucking warrant. Like, you don't just get to do that. Can you smoke in a jury room? No. It appears that's how they've been operating in Minneapolis without warrants when they're going into these houses. That's not legal. So, so it's gonna be a little interesting here. But anyways, let's keep going here.
All right, let's see, your next question.
Judge, I don't have any further questions for Mr. Litsky.
All right.
I would ask to recall him at a later time.
Okay, well, cross-examination?
Not at this time, Your Honor, no, thank you.
Okay, all right. Sir, since you are subject to recall, do not discuss your testimony with anybody, and you may be recalled, okay? But you can have a seat, thank you.
Can I call Detective Miller?
Detective Miller? Again? He was just sworn. Okay, yeah, he just, perfect. He's already been sworn. Right. Detective, just a reminder, you're still under oath, okay, sir? All right, thank you.
Detective, can you see the document that you had created? Digital forensic summary. And when you obtained the data in doing your forensic analysis, describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what you do.
Make sure the green button's on there.
Okay, I think it's on now. Obtaining data from a
A lot more than that. This is all whistleblower shit. And here is a memo they were not allowed to keep. They were only able to view electronically. So it appears, I think this is apparently legit. An actual fucking memo saying they do not need, yeah. I don't know how this here, yeah. I don't think this gives them the right, like, you need a warrant to get into a home. So I don't see how the form I-205 authoritates that, but this is a lot more than just some regular shit here. So no, you're not Spugga, not case versus Montana. There's a lot of case. We're not talking about that. There's multiple cases about the Fourth Amendment saying you need to get into you need a warrant to get into a home. So even if you have an arrest warrant for someone, to get into their homes is not always guaranteed. You need a it's not that simple. It's not that simple. So just saying. And let me pull up. All right. Well, anyways, just saying. Let's get back to this. I'm going to do some reading here, but holy shit, if they really did do this, fucking A, man. Fucking A.
device. The first thing we do is stabilize it, and that method depends on whether it's a mobile device or a computer, whether the device is on or off. So an example of a computer, what I would do is the device, if it's already coming to me in a powered off state, I would remove the hard drive, connect it to a forensic machine with a write blocker. A write blocker is a device that prevents writing to that evidence device. Therefore, no bits are changed, so no zeros, no ones, nothing gets altered. And then I take what's called a forensic image of that, and create an evidence file from that, which is then loaded into another forensic tool that will parse that data and create it into a readable format for me as the examiner or anybody else to read down the road.
And would you draw your conclusions that are the conclusions that are on this digital forensics executive summary after doing that through different artifacts?
Yes, I would draw any conclusions off of data that had been obtained from a device.
Okay, and what you just described to the jury is what went into this document, the digital forensic executive summary.
Everything that was used to compile that came from data that had been extracted from the digital devices.
Okay, and specifically relating, and I'm referencing this document, January 9th, that was an important day in terms of who was using devices.
Objection, counsel's testifying.
What's the significance
I'll
of
state
January?
objection, go ahead.
Yes, what's the significance of January 9th, 2023 in this investigation?
That was a date that a Gmail account was created.
Okay, and in your investigation, were you able to determine who created that account?
Who in particular? No.
Yes. Were you able to investigate using your tools to determine artifacts such as who, such as other lifestyle type matters as to who was home, who could have been there, things like that?
Judge, objection is to form.
If you want to see that question again.
What are the things that, so when you're honing in on who was using a device, what things do you look at?
I would look at a variety of things. Pattern of life would be a term that would be used, but you would explore all that the data has to offer and see if there's enough artifacts there to support or provide enough information as to who may have been using that device. But barring external corroboration, it's impossible to put somebody behind a screen.
Now, in terms of reaching conclusions in digital forensics, you have to make determinations based on a number of factors, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What, if anything, did you do to arrive at the conclusion that
Objection, leading.
on January 9th,
Sustained as to leading.
what, if anything, did you take into consideration in arriving at your conclusion on January 9th, 2023?
For that particular date?
Yes.
I took into account all the information I had at that time as to what was the more likely scenario based on what I had at the time.
Okay. And what were your determination based upon this particular executive summary?
That based on what I had at the time, it indicated that the device owner was using the device.
Okay. Now, you've put in this summary January 17th. Is that a significant date?
There we go, chat.
Yes.
Okay. What's the significance of that date?
That was another date that an account was created.
And was that the FetLife account?
Yes.
Okay. And what's the relationship, if any, between the Gmail account that was created on January 9th and the FetLife account that was created on January 17th?
The Gmail account that had been created on January 9th was the email account that was used in the creation of the FetLife account.
Okay. And were you able to determine through your expertise who had control of the device, Christine's devices on that day?
I was able to determine that it was her phone involved in creating that device. Or, sorry, I was able to determine that it was her phone used in the creation of that account based on a variety of returns.
And did you make any conclusions at that time that she had not given up her devices?
I had nothing indicating loss of dominion and control at that time.
Okay, and that's what your finding was as per that particular day. correct?
Wow.
Yes. Has that changed?
Yes.
When did that change?
The co-defendant admitted to using the devices.
Okay. Has it digitally, in terms of digital forensic artifacts, has that changed?
No, the zeros and ones did not change.
Okay, so, and zeros and ones, that's binary, right?
Yes.
So your conclusions based on the zeros and ones are still the same?
Yes.
The only additional factor is the co-defendant adopted a different story.
I was provided additional information that had to be taken into account, yes.
Okay, meaning she told the story that she told the other day here?
Yes.
Okay. Were there any other conclusive digital artifacts that were different in the creation of this report other than the co-defendant testifying differently?
I'm sorry, can you ask the question again?
It wasn't a very artfully worded question. Were there any, so we were just talking about digital analysis, the ones and zeros, right? And that's the thing that you oftentimes work with, correct?
Yes.
And what your testimony was is that the co-defendant's testimony was the thing that changed relating to the January 17th that we were just talking about.
Yes, context is important.
Okay, and was there something other than her accepting, other than her telling the story that she told that day, was there anything about the traditional digital forensics that you had analyzed that had changed?
Not that I recall.
Okay, and that was January 17th, correct? Or was it the entire report?
I was speaking to it as an aggregate.
Okay. And did you have an opportunity to be part of the questioning of Juliana Perez Magalhães?
No, I was not part of that.
Okay. Were there items within that interview that was in conflict of your findings in digital forensics?
Objection, foundation.
Are you only a foundation?
Okay. You heard the testimony, correct?
Yes.
And I'm speaking of the first time she told the story on October 25th, 2024. You heard those interviews, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so my question is, did you see conflict? What, if any, conflict did you see with your digital forensics findings and her statements on that day?
Nothing is immediately coming to mind.
Okay. Would you have seen her video where she's talking about where Eric Klingon is asking if anybody was on FetLife on a certain day?
Yes, I've seen that.
And your knowledge of digital forensics, you knew why he was asking that.
Objection, leading.
All right, I'll sustain as the leading.
Did you, in fact, did you have any idea why he asked that question?
I can't speak to why people choose to ask the questions they do in an interview.
In terms of your digital forensics findings, though, did it make sense why he asked that question?
I think it would be relevant information.
Okay. And she didn't answer it correctly, correct?
Objection, leading.
I'll sustain as the leading.
What, if anything, did she, I'll strike that question.
Okay.
After you heard that she had recanted and told this story, did you see an opportunity to be involved in the questioning of her?
I think I know what you mean by that. I would have liked to have been involved, but I was not involved in questioning her at all.
Okay. Looking back on the interview, if you had been involved, could you have assisted them?
I believe so.
Okay. And who were the people that were in the interview room?
Objection, foundation.
Well, if you want to have a foundation, if he knows.
There were, when she was interviewed, there were a number of detectives in there, correct?
I believe so.
Do you know any of the detectives that were in there?
Yes.
Okay. And did you have an opportunity to talk to them about your ability to assist them in her story?
Prior to that?
Yes.
No, I did not have an
Were
opportunity.
you aware that she was doing that? prior to
No,
her story?
I was not aware until after it had already taken place.
Okay, so they didn't, and were you the digital expert for this case at that time?
Yes.
Okay, so what, if anything, did they do to get information from you to make it a more accurate questioning of Juliana Perez Magalhães?
I wasn't able to provide them anything because I didn't know what was happening.
Okay, and no one told you that?
Correct.
Okay. The digital forensics. Now, so you were transferred, correct?
Yes.
When did that occur?
Roughly a year ago.
Okay, okay, and what you're doing now is a different form of digital forensics?
Objection asked and answered.
Overruled, allowances.
I'm using the same skill sets, yes.
Okay, but you don't get involved in cases like this anymore in digital forensics?
No.
Okay. When you were still within digital forensics, were you ever asked to change your executive summary that we looked at?
To change it?
Yes.
I was asked to review it in light of the proffer.
Okay. Were you ever asked to go line by line and fix the conclusions?
Objection leading.
What, if anything, were you ever asked regarding your digital forensics executive summary?
To review it in light of the proffer and ensure I could explain what I had put in that executive summary.
And did you do that?
I reviewed it.
Okay. Was there a change in this document based upon that review?
Like I said, the zeros and ones did not change.
Okay. Is that why you were transferred?
I can't speak to the exact motives behind a transfer.
So, okay.
He knows why you got transferred.
So you were never told why you
Can't
were
say,
transferred?
though.
There was a discussion about the transfer, yes.
Was it related to your executive summary?
It was related to my work in the Banfield case.
Okay, and your work in the Banfield case, is it fair to say that it was,
Objection leading.
was there any other work in the Banfield case other than digital forensics for you?
This guy's just looking at it. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna get fired. Stop it. Erica says, not what, if anything. This is the prosecutor's being an asshole, so this is why he's doing that. This is the proper use of that. But yeah, this guy's like, dude, I'm gonna get fired. My kids won't have a dental plan anymore. Stop. And also, yes, Dirty Eric, I saw you and maybe going back and forth. Peyton versus New York. You have to have a warrant to get into a dwelling. And an arrest warrant is okay. But you cannot get into a house without a warrant. You know, if you know somebody's within the home and you have reason to believe it, but otherwise, you can't just show up at a house without a warrant. And they're saying an I-205 form signed by anybody in ICE, including an immigration judge who's not an Article 3 judge, ordering deportation counts as a warrant that you could go into their house and drag them out. That's not legal. Nope. Nope. Not fucking buying that. I'm not buying that. Now, on an I-205, a federal judge can do it, but even then, I don't think that gives you a warrant. So, nope. Not buying it.
For me, no.
Okay. So let's go through that document if we can. Can you still see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Looking at the January 18th to until February 23rd discussions in your report. Do you stand by those same conclusions in those bullet points?
As far as the activity of the devices, yes.
Okay, and the ones and the zeros?
Yes.
And so the only thing that changes that section, and I can keep scrolling if you need to see it, is the fact that
Judge, I'm sorry, can counsel explain where specifically in the document he's referencing?
the section of January 18th until February 23rd, 2023. Should be on the screen. I scrolled up to it.
Judge, I see a section titled 1219 to 224.
At the very top of the screen, he has the dates.
I see. Thank you.
Okay.
I was just trying to include that whole
That's
section.
fine. I think she was just looking on her laptop too.
Okay. Is there anything of the ones and zeros, the binary language, that's changed in that portion of the summary?
No, the data extractions remain the same.
Okay. So the only change is that the co-defendant gave a different story.
Additional evidence came to light, yes.
Is that the additional evidence?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see the section that says February 18th, 2023?
Yes.
It says starting at 22:44 hours, Christine utilized her
Judge, I'm going to
CB.
object to reading from the document. He can question the
All
witness.
right, I'll sustain the objection.
Okay. Do you, that statement that I was just starting to read, is that still the same?
As far as what the device was doing or the account was doing, yes.
Okay. And the only change that would change that would be that Juliana Perez Magalhães changed her story.
Yes.
Okay. Let's look at February 19th, 2023. Have you read those 3 bullet points?
Yes.
Okay. And same question. Is there anything that has changed regarding the ones and zeros, as we talked about in that section?
No, the data remains the same.
Data remains the same. And have you ever heard the term digital forensics don't lie, people lie?
I've heard it.
Have you ever heard it?
Yes.
Okay. Now, talking about February 19th, the only thing that's changed is Juliana Perez Magalhães has changed her story, correct?
Yes, the data remains the same.
Data remains the same. (219) to 2023, February 19th, until February 24th, 2023. This references Telegram communications. Do those items remain the same?
Yes, the data did not change.
Okay, so I don't want to put words in your mouth, but pretty much everything is the data hasn't changed, correct?
Correct. Context did.
Context, and the context is in the form of recantation of Juliana Perez Magalhães.
Yes.
Okay. And your conclusion? Same thing?
Yes, sir, the data still hasn't changed.
Okay, and that hasn't changed except for the recant of Juliana Perez Magalhães.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
So you were asked by the person that transferred you to go line by line and change your...
Objection calls for hearsay.
I'll sustain the objection if you want to rephrase.
Who were you asked to change your executive summary by?
Again, I don't believe I was asked to change it. I was asked to review it in light of the proffer.
Okay, and so when you reviewed it in light of the proffer, was there ever another executive summary created after that?
No, I did not create another document.
Okay, so you just reviewed it as you were asked to do?
Correct.
But there's no actual executive summary like you did in this situation?
Correct, I did not create another document.
Other than listening to the interviews that Juliana Perez Magalhães gave, did you ever deal with her directly?
No, I had, only when I got her phone from her when she was arrested.
Okay. So is it fair to say that you were never in a position to challenge any of the things she said?
I conducted no interviews with her. That's correct.
Were you able to observe whether she was ever challenged on any of the things she said?
Only with the interviews that have been recorded.
Okay. And do you believe that she was challenged on what she was said?
Objection. I'm not sure that that is relevant. His belief.
I'll overrule its relevance.
I'm sorry, could you ask the question again?
Do you believe she was challenged in those interviews?
I think that's a relative term. I can't speak to what the person asking the questions was thinking at the time.
Let me see if I can get us to a point where we're understanding each other. As an investigator, if you think that something may not be right, whether it's based on digital forensics or anything, you challenge them, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And that's what you would do if you were in a situation where you were interviewing based upon your work, correct?
My questions would have likely been different, but I can't speak to why somebody would ask what they would ask in an interview they're conducting.
So if somebody says something, generally, if somebody says something that's wrong, you don't challenge them?
I think I would.
Okay. In watching those interviews, were they ever challenged? Was she ever challenged?
Objection calls for speculation. Again, he's testified already that he doesn't know what was in their minds when they were asking questions.
Speculation.
Well, I'm asking him about his review of the videos. It's not, it's essentially, it's his.
I'll overrule the objection. Go ahead. If you can answer.
Yeah, re-ask the question, sir, please.
Watching the interviews of her recant, you weren't there, correct?
Yes, I was not there.
Did you think that she was challenged when she gave the story that she gave?
It appeared to be more of a free-form interview. I did not see direct confrontation on things in that interview.
Okay. And when you say free form, you mean she was just able to tell what she wanted to?
They were going through the details.
Okay. So she was asked about a detail and then she was able to give a story?
Pretty much it was a question and answer format.
Okay. And I guess my question is, I use the term challenge. Were there people questioning what she was saying?
In light of?
Any of the topics?
I don't remember anything specifically.
Okay. What were your conclusions in your executive summary that you wrote before her recant?
That based on the digital evidence I had at the time and the facts known at the time, it indicated that the device owner was responsible for the activity on the device.
And that device owner?
Christine Banfield.
I have no further questions.
Cross-examination.
Thank you.
Can I just put this down? Or do you need it?
We're just.
Okay, I'm sure
Good
the
afternoon,
guy's
Detective Miller.
terrified he's going to lose his job.
All right, so you stated barring external corroboration, it's
Oh,
impossible
here we go.
to put someone behind a screen. Isn't that correct?
There needs to be corroboration of some sort, yes.
All right, and in this case, when you dug into Christine's phone, Christine's laptop, the information that you received from the external sources, Google, iPhone, Apple, were you able to put someone concretely behind the screen?
At times, yes.
But throughout the context of all of the conversations that you saw occurring, the activity that you saw occurring on Christine's phone, could you conclusively opine as to who was behind the screen?
No.
Okay. And when you wrote this report that Mr. Carroll has referenced, you used the phrasing, Christine did this, Christine did that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And after additional information and further investigation, you would have changed that to Christine's phone or Christine's laptop. Is that correct?
Correct.
Because again, you can't put someone behind the screen in this case, can you?
Not for everything, correct.
Okay. The evidence itself did not change, correct?
Correct, the data did not change.
You did not change the evidence, correct?
No, I did not change the evidence.
You reviewed how many terabytes of data in this case?
A lot.
A lot, okay. And in all of that, there was no ability to reach a conclusion that one person was always operating on FetLife, was always operating on Christine's phone when interacting with the Google account that was created to manipulate the FetLife account. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. There are no artifacts contrary to Juliana Perez Magalhães' statements regarding the creation of the account, are there?
Not that are coming to mind, no.
And the only changes that you would have made here is again to clarify that there are points at which you cannot tell who is operating the device.
Yes, I would have clarified. It's very difficult to speak about devices constantly saying this person's device, that person's device. I did it with Joseph Ryan's devices, Brendan Banfield's devices, Juliana's devices all throughout. I just called it the person who owned the device using.
All right, so in this case, louder. The digital forensics may not lie, but they didn't provide us with any conclusive evidence of who was operating Christine's phone when the Google account used in conjunction with the FetLife account was created.
Correct.
Okay. You were also asked about your review of Juliana Perez Magalhães' original proffer that occurred on October 25th. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Were you aware that there was another interview with Juliana that occurred in February?
Yes.
Okay. And did you receive information from watching the October proffer about what was going on in the room between the detectives and the attorneys that were present? Did anyone show you the notes that were passed? Have you had the opportunity to talk to those individuals about what they might have whispered about when they stepped out of the room?
I did not discuss that with anybody.
Okay, so you have no idea what, if anything, went into the questions that she was asked and whether or not there was effort made to confirm that her story had additional corroboration, do you?
Correct.
Okay. Judge, I don't believe I have any other questions. Right. Thank you so much.
Redirect.
Sir, do you know why
Wait till you use the microphone, please.
Do you know why you, as the expert in digital forensics, was not called in the Commonwealth's case?
I don't.
Were you ever told anything about that?
Objection calls for hearsay.
Overruled.
I just know that they were not advertising it, that they were having the proffer at that time. I found out afterwards that it.
That man was shitting a brick right there, hoping he didn't have to answer that man. Did I say this guy's going to lose his job? No, he doesn't want to lose his job. If he testifies to like say the answer, I'm in trouble because I think it's all bullshit, he's going to get fired. And think about it, he probably would.
Already taken place.
No, I'm talking about for the trial, for this trial.
I'm sorry, ask your question again, then.
So it started with, do you know why you weren't called when you were the expert in digital forensics for this case?
Again, I can't speak to somebody's motivation for not including me.
Okay. It's not a hard question to say when you're not watching someone on a device to say digital forensics can't conclusively determine who it is behind the device, correct?
Can you ask it again, please, sir?
Sure. It's not a hard question to ask someone like yourself, you don't know 100% who's behind that device. Isn't that correct?
Objection leading.
I'll sustain as to leading if you want to ask.
Is there, what is the likelihood of being able to say someone is using their device with 100% certainty without seeing the person?
That's difficult to do.
Okay. And that's one of the reasons why digital forensics is a valuable tool, correct?
Objection, counsel's testifying.
Not really, but.
Yes.
And it's because of, well, the factors that you've described for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. That's how you arrive at conclusions, correct?
Yes.
But they're not, how many times that you've arrived at successful conclusions where you were 100% certain the person who was behind the device?
I would say only in circumstances where somebody admitted that they were using the device.
Okay. Or you had a camera on them or something like that?
Correct. Some kind of corroborative factor.
Okay. Do you have any idea why you were excluded from any of these meetings regarding the Juliana's recant?
I can't speak to people's motives to not including me.
Okay. Was there anyone else who was covering the digital forensics arena in your stead?
In general or for a meeting in particular?
For this case.
I don't want to get fired, please.
No, I was pretty much the one who did the analysis.
So you were the expert?
Yes.
And who would rely upon your expertise in the ongoing investigation?
Everybody.
The lead detectives.
Okay. And are you talking about Detective Bryant?
Yes.
And Detective Goodell?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the flow of information as you found digital forensics? Did you give it to them?
Yes, everything that I processed was ultimately provided directly to Kyle Bryant and other detectives involved in the case.
And did you ever, so I'm asking in the context of like a math equation, did you ever show your work or did you just show your conclusions?
I went through the artifacts with the detectives.
Okay, and that would be Kyle Bryant?
Yes.
And Tom Goodell?
Yes.
Any other detectives?
There were a lot of people in meetings.
Okay, so okay, so you're talking about meetings, but did you ever go in and just talk to them in a granular level as to why you arrived at the conclusions you arrived at?
Yes.
And how often would that happen?
There were multiple occasions that I got to a granular level.
Okay. What about the command staff? Did you ever get into the granular level with the command staff on the digital forensics?
There were multiple meetings where command staff was present and I outlined why I came to the conclusions I came to. But as far as sitting down and going over every artifact, no.
Okay. And would you have been invited to do that by the command staff?
Objection, calls for speculation.
I'll sustain that.
Were you ever invited to come in and give the granular details, no matter who they were?
I don't recall providing granular details to command staff.
Okay. And granular, we're talking about to the nitty gritty, right? Just so we're using the same terms.
Judge, objection is to form. I'm not sure how nitty gritty is different from granular.
I'll sustain that objection.
How would you describe granular in the way we're talking about it?
painstaking detail, like getting into why that artifact is the way it is, how it came to be there, going through that way. So some of them will go into that level, but not the entirety of the case, no.
Okay. And when you say some of, you're speaking to the people when you say some of them?
Yeah, there were different times throughout this investigation where I would sit down with various different people, and depending on what was desired, I would go through exactly how I arrived where I was. Some people wanted overview, some people wanted to see down to the detail.
Okay. I have no further questions.
All right, is this subject to recall again, or?
Sure, why not?
Okay, so you're still subject to recall, Detective, so just not discuss your testimony with anybody, and you're still subject to the rule of witnesses, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. You're free for today, though, I think, now. Yes, sure. He's free for today, though, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, chat. Let's see where they're at here. Looks like they're almost done for the day. Erica says the food's here. I think Juliana could said that just to patch the evidentiary issue doesn't mean what she said is true. Yeah, but it's just not clear. It's just not clear how this is all set up, guys. I'm not very impressed. I'm not impressed at all right now how that was done. So... Brewberry says, he's gonna have, if he wants to save his ass, he's gonna have to testify. They're leaning towards Braden testifying, or Brendan testifying. He's gonna have to. This guy's fucked. Like, they were able to explain all that shit away that we had been kind of involved in. Yeah. If this is all they got, he's toast. Libby says this attorney's bad. No, bad attorney, like, bad cases have bad facts. I don't think Alan Jackson would be able to fucking save this. He ran with what he had. I mean, I can tell you Alan Jackson might have been a little flashier and quicker. This still would have been a dumpster fire anyway. So if it makes you feel any better, this guy's not that bad. He's dealing with what he's got. So... yeah, there's no way to know who's using what. This is just it. What the hell are you talking about? Donut for hemorrhoids in her skirt? Oh. They're just... the one looks completely unfucking professional. You can't ask a coherent line of questions. Well, to remember, these guys are cops. They're not going to sit down with him ahead of time. These ones, I'm not upset why he couldn't do stuff. Have to explain why Juliana moved to the master bedroom. I don't know about that. I still don't know the answers to some of the stuff here. Yeah, if he wasn't home, it was sent while they were at the house, which is why Juliana said she would send some. Yeah, but they did enough of an issue here that the attorney could run with it. But ultimately, it's not going to help. Her testimony's not credible. I think it's clear they did it. So, and Tim, I don't know if you're trolling or not, but no, I don't think Karen did it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
They couldn't prove it.
We try the best intentions to get everything lined up as we can, but it appears that the defense at this point doesn't have any other witnesses that are available today. All right. So what I want to do with you is if tomorrow we can start at 9:30 and possibly go to 5:30 because I got to make up this hour because I'm chasing a snowstorm. Okay. So 9:30 to 5:30 tomorrow. If that's available for everybody, can we do that tomorrow? 9:30 to 5:30?
She got tattoos.
And I know we had talked about no Fridays. Attorneys wanted me to float with you if you were available for this Friday. If you're not, that's fine because I told you no Fridays. But if you get back there and you can let the
okay, well, we're not going to be able to finish up tomorrow. Yeah, guys, this is not good. Not good at all for Brendan. This is a fucking bad day. Bad day for him. Yeah, this ain't going to work. This ain't going to work for him. This guy's unlikable. Testifying would destroy him. Yeah, but there's no other options. Like, they're going to convict him. He will get convicted if he does not do anything here. He will get convicted. So, I hope he, like, is he out on bond right now or is he in custody right now? If he's out on bond, he'd better enjoy this weekend and get a nice fucking steak. because it's probably the last time he's ever going to have one. If he's not, well, that sucks for him because he's probably going to prison for the rest of his fucking life because I ain't buying a goddamn word of this at this point. There's not enough to say how that detective got kicked off. And yeah, that just didn't save the day. So, yeah. I'm just saying there. Convict him just because he works for the IRS? I mean, that's a compelling reason, but it's not good enough for me, guys. Sorry. Sorry about that. I'm well, I don't like the IRS. That's there's multiple reasons you could convict this guy. The evidence alone supports it, so yeah. Yeah, so yeah, LWAP's coming up. All for some Brazilian ass that wasn't even that good looking. I mean, Juliana Marghi, you know, she wasn't even that good looking. But you know, like that's a story of life. Men throw it all away for like, you know, somebody who's really not that impressive. You know, this is where Mr. Medicker's right. Was it worth it? I mean, why was this worth it? So it was not worth it in the end. In the end, it was not worth it at all. So we'll see. I'm a Fed. You're a Fed. She's still a catch for the IRS, man, I guess. Yeah. He had other women too. I heard that as well. Well, he's at the IRS, the most brilliant of people. Oh, don't start with that. They are not brilliant. Oh. They made her mousy for trial. Either way, her testimony is going to survive. So, and if she planned it all and turned on him and played him, all I can tell her is bravo, Juliana. Bravo, you fucking played them all. Good for her if she played them all. Oh, let's see if I missed anything here, chat. Afix says to send you link on X. Thank you. And yes, once again, guys, tell Afix thank you for the help. We appreciate that, getting us all set up there. You know, and that's kind of it, chat. Well, that's kind of it for now. If she hadn't played in the plea deal, so you think he couldn't have turned the story around on her and potentially walked? I don't know. I don't know, but for whatever reason, they wanted him the most. They wanted him the most. You know, maybe they ended up cutting a deal with the Kingpin ultimately. Kind of like in Wild Things, you know, kind of like one of those deals where, like, it looks like the bad guys got away with it. It easily could have been that. It easily could be that situation, or he could be the bad guy. I mean, we don't know yet. You know, I have my suspicions, and right now, you know, kind of is what it is there. So, yeah, her plea deal's gonna, like, and the court's gonna uphold her plea deal. The judge if the judge blows it up, she'll fuck herself over. Because if she fucks over that plea deal, nobody's gonna ever take a deal in front of her. So there's a massive incentive for Askarati to keep this deal in place, in my opinion. If I was judge, that's a calculus you have to consider. Yes, on a wall, we saw Uvaldi came in, and it's a not guilty. I think we're gonna go live about this ICE stuff tonight because holy shit, I did not sign up for this. If this is what we're signing, if this is what ICE really is doing, I did not sign up for this shit. I did not sign up for warrantless entry. into homes. So we're going to take a look at it. Will she be sent home with a nice pat on the rump for playing? Probably. Told Monkey says, are you serious? She won't spend another day locked up? Yeah, probably not. That's how it goes. Sometimes people get away with it. You know? Sometimes people get away with it. And there ain't nothing you can do about it. You know, as Clint Eastwood said, deserve ain't got nothing to do with it. Deserve ain't got nothing to do with it. So, gotta break some eggs and make a nice omelet. Yeah, well, one of those omelets they broke is the fucking Fourth Amendment. So I'm not on board with that. She had the better lawyer. I don't know about that. They weren't gonna they weren't buying the idea that she was behind it, probably. So yeah, I'm sure they went after him anyway. So the first who talks walks. No, if he had talked first, they would have fucked him. No, it's just they thought she was the more worthwhile person to use. That's just the nature of the game, guys. It has nothing to do with skill of the lawyers. It's probably they wouldn't take a deal from Brendan Banfield. So yeah, they offered her a misdemeanor to start with. She passed on it, which, you know, she might not be the smartest in the world, but she's still getting away with it. So let me, with that said, guys, we're going to stop here. I got to read this memo tonight. I don't know if I'm going to go live on it tomorrow. I get home probably around noon. I might go live on this because this is insane. I got to read this and make sure this isn't bullshit. Because if this is really what it is, this is fucked up beyond all belief. So, with that said, chat, I don't know how this is going to work out for Brendan, but I can't see it working out good. Especially not at this point. So, yeah, the Pam Bondi memo, yes. Yes. I need to read it first. I need to read the whole thing. What happened? Possibly a lot of fucked up shit. So, I got to read it first. I got to read it first and then go from there. Is there a link for us undereducated? Yeah, let me see if I can put it together here. Yeah, start reading, chat. Here you go. And just read it and breed it. Yeah, there you go. Jesus. Here you go, guys. Start reading this if you want to read a memo. Don't like it. Don't like it. I don't like what I'm reading. That doesn't mean there's not more or there's bullshit here, but I need to read this first. Okay, so with that said, guys, I will see you guys tomorrow. And yeah, we're not doing any model painting tonight. Like I said, I'm reading and I gotta make a phone call or two. I will talk to you guys later. And until next time, chat. Just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. But Brendan Banfield, yeah, he's toast. He's toast. With that said, chat, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good night, guys. Blind react, no, but maybe there might, if there's an emergency show here, I'll let you know in a second, but not right now.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law.
He has some interesting takes on.
Cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. But please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy?